serve Kib loyally and faithfully. At least I hope, right? We can always hope that chat will be loyal and faithful. Perhaps follow me off a bridge or a cliff or whatever the phrase is. Wee. All right, chat. We've got some stuff to talk about today. On the good side, it's a lot of actually good news to look forward to in this particular bunch cast. With some, I guess, for some people, there could be, I guess, bad stuff here, but I don't think you're going to be too disappointed with today's bunch cast. Not a lot of major developments happened over the course of this week, but enough developments to justify a bunch cast. My God, it was kind of looking a little sketchy there. I was like, should I not? But there was actually enough stuff that happened this week to actually justify the stream. So, yay! We can thank the industry for doing something productive. Woohoo! If nothing happens, there's nothing to talk about, and I normally don't make a bunch cast. Because you guys know, we only do bunch casts if there's something interesting to say. And there is something interesting to say. So I know that's funny, because this paused at the exact fucking moment that I thought it would, and it did. And I'm streaming my screen to Bindio, so Bindio can see now. And it's curious. Hold on, I'm gonna, move this. Oh, I hate Discord. I hate Discord so much. There we go. So, this is a game that I saw. It's an upcoming game called Hell Slave 2, Judgment of Archon, right? And I was greeted with this, with the opening intro. Developed by a solo creator. Every asset in the game is 100% hand-drawn. Zero AI content. As the big logo on the stream with an AI with an X over it. Such an interesting thing for a game to have. Because it basically tells us kind of everything we need to know about the general winds. The pendulum has swung, and the people have chosen. And the people have basically chosen that AI is not something they want to see in video games. And it becomes more and more apparent as more and more developers and more players continue to drop games with AI in them, continue to be negative towards them. As the discourse basically has continued to heat up, or more so heat up in that vein. And I think this is a net good thing. And the reason why I kind of believe that it's a good thing to have negative AI connotation to things is because I kind of, and this is down to a subjective personal opinion, so if you disagree with it, that's more than fine, but I kind of feel that, in my opinion, as a creator, that if we let AI get its roots in things, we get lazier as creators. We just do. Does it mean, you can't use it for searching stuff or whatever? Yeah, for search engines or whatever AI, it has a place for certain things. But what AI doesn't have a place in is in the actual creative process of actually making something. In my opinion, as a creative. That's my opinion, by the way. But, yeah, I personally don't think it's good. I think it's a bad habit to use it, and if you're using it, it's a crutch, and it's honestly not a good idea to use it. You should make it yourself. You should put in the extra elbow grease and back work to actually learn to do it, and just do it. Because if you use AI as a crutch to do those things, you're never gonna really learn anything as a creator. And it's always gonna be kind of like just using other people's work, because that's kind of what it does. It's an algorithm which basically uses other people's work to create more things from those other people's work. And you should have to make it yourself. You should have to learn those skills. You should have to develop them. Because there's a certain appreciation, a certain knowledge base you will grow as an individual when you create something. So yeah, my personal little pet peeve out of the way, that's my view on it. But I find it interesting that other game developers are starting to adopt this view set. I mean, it's not too surprising because creatives will naturally, I think, reject this kind of crutch thing. This is something that I think is more so pushed by corporate executives who essentially don't want to pay people to work on games and they want to just make slop. And that's what AI slop is. That's why the term AI slop is the view set it has. That's why Microsoft CEO came out a couple months back and said, please don't call it AI slop. It's hurting our stocks. Because because people think it's slop. And I'm sorry it hurts your stocks. If that hurts you, that sucks. But at the same time, it's at the same time, people vote with their wallet. People vote with how they feel about stuff. And people, when they think it's AI slop, and that's become the general phrase, I've never heard anybody say, yeah, this is good AI stuff. This is AI slop. This stuff here is good. I always hear just AI slop as just a general summarization of all AI things in the creative field. Now, not to say AI doesn't have a place in, the world. It does serve a purpose as an algorithm. It can be used for research and data gathering and like information stuff. It's used to gather data on you. It can be used for search engines and stuff like that. It's got a place, but it doesn't have a place in the creative sector, and it never, I think, should. Because I think you should have to work yourself. Just like it when it came out that Britney Spears, this is random, I know, was using synth to make her voice sound better, or an AI basically, like early AI to make her voice sound better. It had negative connotations then, just like it should have now. If you're not doing the muscle, if you don't have the talent, you shouldn't deserve a prize. Not everybody deserves a prize. Prizes are earned. It's a merit thing. You should have to earn your place. You shouldn't be just given it. You shouldn't be able to coast. You should work every day towards it. That's at least my ethos. And so it's interesting that Hell Slave 2 has decided to do this. Now, as for the game itself, we're going to take a look at this trailer because Chatfish wanted us to take a look at it. So I don't even know about the quality of the game, but it is impressive that every asset in the game is 100% hand-drawn and developed by a solo person. Seriously, kudos. I can't imagine how much work that truly is. As somebody who's worked with a team of people, a small indie team, it's insane how much work there is every day. And the fact this guy did it all himself, kudos. That's commendable, regardless. Now let's take a look. Oh, my eardrums don't blow up. Oh, it's an old school RPG. Very nice art style, I will say. But it's a bit blurry, so I can't quite see the details, though. Maybe I can fix that. Because it looks nice, but I can't really see it that well, and neither can you. That's it. I don't know why YouTube does that. Defaults to 760 sometimes. He's riding a little Beano! That's cool. That's got a nice visual. Let's pull up their Steam store to get a little bit more information on the game, though. As I feel like the trailer did a good job of telling me that it's kind of an old school RPG, but I feel like it didn't do necessarily the best of telling me everything I need to know about the video game. So the video game currently released August 4th, so about 4 days ago, and it's now sitting about at mixed. We'll take a look at what the general consensus is as to why. But I will say that I think the visual effects of the game look quite nice. And the overall, like, theme. Like, look at this cool blues that they have here. Not bad. Too late to flee. This gives me a lot... You know what it reminds me of? This is going to sound completely dumb, and no one's going to fucking buy it. Probably. Well. But, like, there was a game that I had on my little flip phone back when I was in elementary that was exactly like this. And, well, not exactly like this, but it reminds me of it. And it was Doom. There was a Doom flip phone RPG game, and I remember buying that on, like, the online app store or whatever. That was, like, a proto app store back then. And it was, like, $5. And I remember asking my mom, because I had to ask her if I could, right? And I bought this Doom game on my phone, and I was initially disappointed, but then surprised. It was a RPG that was first person, and it plays like this where you like do combat and you like go around and you do quests and stuff, and it was made in the Doom engine. It was so fucking weird that it caught me like left field, like, because I wasn't expecting it. I was like, oh cool, they made Doom for the flip phone back in like 2000, like 2002 or 2003 or whatever the fuck. And like it wasn't. It was Doom. It was Doom but as an RPG, and it was very weird.
I remember buying some of those. And I do enjoy games like this. First person dungeon crawler.
Yeah, it's a little dungeon crawler. The art style, I will say, looks quite nice. Like, it's very nice, very pretty.
Remind me a little of Darkest
Darkest
Dungeon.
Dungeon, yeah. It's got a bit of that Darkest Dungeon flair because it's got that comic book hatch etching, is what I think it's called,
Yes.
for shading. And the etching shading is kind of like, it's kind of been popularized by Darkest Dungeon. But I will say
Yes,
that
the
this is a
mimicking.
bit more derivative because the characters aren't like cheapified. Because in Darkest Dungeon they're cheapified.
Yes.
Here they're full
It's
blown
because
like
it's because
illustrations.
it's a side scroller, so it looks better.
It's got a
Cheese here, Cheese here since into first person he can make more detail.
Now, it does come with a demo, by the way, so if you want to try it, it is free to try. But let's see why people have negative reviews. All right. Okay, just looking. All right, let's see. This one's got 17.9 hours, so he's got a decent one. This one's written by Akanor, and he said, I could have a really fun and powerful build if half the abilities would actually work properly. It astonishes me how have been so many review copies being given out with none of the players realizing how many passive effects are not doing anything at all. But that aren't even all the negatives. The amount of frustration caused by all the random dodges, blocks, and parries when attacking enemies makes this strategy game feel much more like playing a game of dice. I was really trying to enjoy Hellslave 2, as there is so much to love about it, but can't full-heartedly recommend it due to all the bugs and frustrating design decisions. And that's from somebody who's played a decent chunk of the game. Let's see somebody who's spent some serious time in the positive. I like how the longest positive review is the product received for free and has the least amount of playtime. Oh no, it's not that long. Oh no, it's not that long. All right, so this guy's 27 hours, a decent amount of playtime, 25 hours of the view, written by OK. He said, a perfectly fine game that of course has minor bugs, seeing as the game was only recently released, but none that significantly affect the game in a negative way, at least for my playthrough. The solo dev is also actively working on fixing the issues. Minor issues aside, the gameplay is simple and fun. So, the general consensus of the reviews out of 182 is it's generally majorative with 69% positive, which puts it at mixed because anything below 70% is mixed. So it's considered as a, relatively well-off little indie title by a single guy. Ars Gotia, maybe is his name, I don't know. It's the developer. Published by Dear Villagers. It's not a true indie, but it does have a publisher. But he did do all the work as a solo dev, so that's still impressive regardless. That's where he probably got the trailer and the advertisement from. It was probably, again, from the actual publisher's resources, if I had to guess. But, yeah. And the fact that apparently the developers claim to be relatively active. Let's see, he made a post August 8th, which was today. It says every class and dynamic in path and elder. Hi everyone. Blah, blah, blah. 6 classes. This just talks about the classes, demonic paths. No patch notes here, but a patch was released, a hotfix, following the August 4th launch date. So he is patching it, so it does show signs of actual work. And this is by Baptiste. Oh, is his name Baptiste? All right. Solo dev. So he fixed freeze, some issues. All right. So I would say, try the demo. Give it a couple days if you're interested in this kind of game, just to see if he's actively, engaging with patching, because it is a solo dev. One thing to be careful with solo dev games, if something, happens with their life, it could take them in a completely drastic different direction. And because they are the life thread of that game, the game is very much tied to them. But yeah, all things considered, very impressive solo dev game. Good job. And again, there's always a demo. Next up we have, or do you have any notes actually, Binsky? I forgot to ask you.
He called me Binsky.
Or
No,
not Binsky, Bindio. I have
yeah,
Binsky's channel open on the other thing.
no, but games aside, I have Little Rapier being a Nazi on my games. He say, 2 things for chat. The cooking contest winner, that is Mythic, if I remember correctly, for the
Yes.
banana bread.
Mythic won the banana bread contest. Mythic, congratulations. Good job on the cooking contest. He will be receiving a custom cooking fish from one of our artists. And I have yet to issue the next cooking challenge, but good job, Mythic. And the next bit of things from the Nazi Chumpa. What do you say?
He say that chat needs to make the weekly today, and he will change his name and avatar for the Chompog.
That is a very good deal, chat. Well, we are very close to today's goal, chat. If we make tomorrow's goal today as well, Chumpa will become Chumpug. And
Yeah,
this
that
is a
basically right,
net
so-
good thing for all of humanity. A positive, capital G, good thing. Not a lowercase
Oh,
g.
it's good.
Not
Yeah,
a lo-
it's gonna be for a month. Yeah.
Ew, 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 ew. All right, so the
So
next
that is chat.
we have another game to check out, trailer-wise, submitted by Moogie. This is a game called Gale's Rock Spirit Can Never Be Caged, PV. This reeks of literally being a goddamn Japanese game. And that's though I just didn't even
That's
look at the text. And yeah, it's
That's the name, yes.
yeah, so we'll see what this is. Mostly because that name is fucking huge. Now this is going to cost me my ad revenue, so God willing.
Uh-oh.
Because it's going to have music in it. Pramek Pepe gives 5 memberships and says, where did he say anything? He didn't say anything. Hashtag fancy fish for me. Okay, he's funding himself a fancy fish. Very generous. That puts us over the daily goal. We are now, congratulations, we made Saturday's goal, chat. We're already on Sunday's goal. Already working our way to that Chumpug. All right, so I'm going to turn the music really low. Actually, no, because we're going to need it. My only worry is I don't mind them taking my ad revenue. I'm just afraid of them taking my stream down over it because they do that sometimes. I can always dispute it because it's technically creative, but it's still annoying when it happens. We gotta have the music, otherwise it won't be doing the trailer any justice. Because it seemed like it was a part of it when I played it for 5 seconds. Alright, chat. F for my fucking channel when it fucking eventually goes down temporarily. Japanese music. Get strong. Or is that Chinese? Or Korean? I can't tell. Honestly, I don't know.
It's very low on my end.
That was very
No,
hard.
it is.
That's also not running in fucking 1080. Stupid, you. This isn't even in 1080? Oh my god. Well, it's going to be as fuzzy as it is, Chad. I'm sorry. No, I refuse to believe it's this fuzzy. Hold on. Let's see if we can find it on Steam. There must be an HD trailer. What's it called? Gale's Rock? Last time I do a Chatfish request. Oh, no, it's not on Steam. Let's see if I can find a better trailer. Gale's Rock Spirit. I think that's the video I'm looking at. Yeah, that is. That is the official video. All right, it's just in 720p. They made a mistake and uploaded a low res version for some reason.
Right.
Can't find an HD version. All right, here we go. I can't tell anything they're saying, by the way. Neither can you, Chad. He's being mean.
It's not Japanese, at least.
There's a guy in a cage. It's a femboy vampire.
Oh,
What?
is that not easy game? It's probably Chinese.
It's a Chinese game? I'm never clicking on the Moogie thing again.
I mean, not easy, so yeah. Probably Chinese.
The evil British showing up. Classic. My problem with NetEase is, like, I can't take their games seriously. Their games are usually trash. So, like, my confidence meter is as rock bottom, my dudes. Also, this is, No gameplay in it. We're gonna move on. We're gonna move on past that. I just don't have enough meat in it to really have faith.
That's more
Also,
a
NetEase is
limit
one of those
of
companies I just immediately dismiss. I can't think of a single NetEase game I actually enjoyed or thought was actually good. Sorry, Moogie. We're gonna have to close your video. It's not. I just can't. I don't give NetEase. I don't give them my time. I just don't value their time because they don't value mine. They just don't make good games. They don't make games. Period. They make slop, in my opinion. What's your opinion on NetEase, Indio? Anything to say?
I mean, I think they only mostly do live service games, so yeah.
Yeah, that's all they do. They just do slop. Gotcha games and that stuff, I basically consider bottom tier trash. And that is just unfortunate in my opinion. And that
I
is,
don't mind. I don't mind a game not being serious if the gameplay is fun, but I'm not really into live service games,
but
so
yeah.
it's kind of pass for me as well.
Why would Moogie do this? Chat's being bullied. No, don't be mean to Moogie. But yeah, I usually like asking me my opinion on gotcha is going to get you the same thing. And this is a forewarning for anybody else. I consider gotcha to be garbage. Um, I don't like gotcha games. I consider them to be trash, and that's my opinion. And it doesn't mean that if you like gotcha games that your opinion is like different. Like if you enjoy them, great. But like if you ever ask my opinion, I'm going to tell you they're bad because I think they are. I genuinely believe and feel that way. And when it comes down to the game design, it comes down to the predatory business practices that they do and stuff like that. And it's just a bunch of like, there's just so many layers to that cake that I can't get past. Like I don't
Yeah.
mind a company having to make money because I know what that's like because I too have to do the exact same thing. But what I do mind is when they're like predatory about it. And I think with like percent, I think if you're gonna sell something, you should just be like, hey, this is a thing, you can get it, and then that's it. And if there is like a chance thing, you should tell people what the chances are, right? Or something like that, if you can. And if you can't, well, whatever. But considering they control all the systems that the games make, there's really no reason they can't tell you. But yeah, I just don't really think their games are that fun. I'm okay with bullying, says Moogie. Goddamn Moogie. All right. The next trailer we have is a game posted by Master Huntsman. I've covered their game before. This is Sins of Southern Empire 2. This is a new expansion that is coming out for Sins of Southern Empire 2 that is adding a new faction, a playable race. So a fourth race is being added to the game. And this is their reveal trailer. Big orb. That didn't give me a whole lot to go off of, to be honest with you. But their new race looks very alien-y. Their ships are very weirdly designed, I will say. But it's going to be down to how they play and how they feel. I don't think that was necessarily the bestest trailer ever. Yeah, it's just the Stardock logo. So let's see if the Steam... What's with trailers just not being, like, super duper good at, like, giving me a feel for what that is? That was kind of a bad trailer, in my opinion. Because it's like, there's a new faction. Okay. But, like, it just, like, I guess it was just an announcement trailer. Okay, here we got a little bit more of the looks of their ships. So the ships look a lot more, like, almost like stone, kind of. Like, jagged, very jagged rocks sort of vibes is what they got. And they have some sort of, like, eldritch laser beams they fire. So this, for those who aren't aware, is the faction that the Vasari were fleeing from across space. Isn't that supposed to be who the Vasari were running from? Yes. This is that faction. They're called the Harbinger. And basically they're fleeing from them. That's the reason why they invaded human space. That's the same trailer. All right, hopefully they'll have a better trailer. So let's see what it actually has. So the Visari have been running for nearly 10,000 years from the great threat that destroyed their empire. For 35 years, they've warned anyone who would listen about it drawing near. Now they've arrived. The Eidolon. The Eidolon don't value typical assets like other races, but they do exploit them as a way to spread their corruption more effectively. They seek only to corrupt those they encounter, transforming them into something else to empower themselves. Planetary transformation. The Eidolons spread corruption across the galaxy to empower themselves and their worlds. As populations fall under the Eidolons' influence, their planets gain corruption over time. Once a world has fully fallen, it can be shrouded greatly, expanding the upgrades that planet can support. So they kind of subsume other factions, is what it sounds like they're going to be. Unit corruption. Corruption empowers Eidolon units in combat, as well as it weakens them. As an Eidolon ship gains corruption, its hull dwindles while its offensive power increases. Enemy forces can become infected by corruption, giving the Eidolon the advantage. So it sort of like erodes at the hull kind of situation, like rust, but makes their guns stronger. Null weapons. Eidolon weapons are far more advanced than those of other factions, and can negate shields and spread corruption against enemies. That's cancer. So it can just go through shields. So even if you got your Titan shields up or whatever, like it's just gonna hurt you anyways. So we'll have to see. That sounds potentially very busted, but I normally play Sins of Solar Empire 2 only single player or PvE. I rarely play against people PvP wise, mostly because games take so considerably long in that game. Like the issue with being knocked out in a game like that is you're just gonna like either sit there and spectate for like an hour, or you just move on. You know, kind of looks like the board concept from STA3 with the Yoinkian ships. Maybe they have cloak ships. Subterfuge is one of the great enemy's sharpest weapons, as seen as the Kalizeth Profaner. Support capital ship, new cloaking and detection systems let the Eidolon appear and vanish at will, enabling hit and run tactics that reward patience and punish anyone caught off guard. So that's, I think, not a mechanic that I remember being baked into Sins, where stealth was like a big thing. So they'll be going to push that with this faction here. They have new psionic abilities. The Eidolon possess psionic abilities that allow them to seize control of lesser beings and drive the Visari ships into madness, firing on friend and foe alike. Now I wonder if that's just the Visari or the other races. Sounds like a little bit of Yuri's there with like the ability to mind control. Phase echoes. Sometimes the dead don't die. Eidolon units infused with corruption may refuse to die and carry on the onslaught. So either they get another health bar and they keep fighting, or they become like zombie ships or something. So sort of like a mind control, sort of eldritchy faction is what they sounds like they've made here. It sounds interesting. It probably will be a lot of fun to fight against. I wonder how it'll actually feel and how their units will be. Unit animation system. A new unit animation system brings Eidolon and other faction units to life with recoiling cannons, expanding factories, hangar bay doors, and more. Wait, is that only going to be because of this expansion, or is that going to be actually just incorporated as a free update? That could use some clarification. Because that's nice. Because, yeah, one thing that I really like about Sins of Empire 2 is that the turrets and guns actually turn and function. Now that they'll have recoiling turrets and hangar bay doors opening and closing, that will actually make the visual effects of space battles look significantly better. But I hope that's not just a paid thing that animation is. So I'm kind of a little bit worried there. I might reach out to Rama and ask for clarification on that, because I think that right there could be misconstrued as, potentially locking like what should be an upgrade for all factions. Like, let's say you don't buy this faction, right? Well, that update for the animation stuff should apply to all the ships of the other factions. I just think that's a bit silly. I hope that's just a miswording there. Discover more about the Sins universe as you explore technology of the research and Eidolon capabilities. So that does sound interesting. Definitely gonna have to check this out when it comes out. We have approximately 3 weeks. We're probably not gonna need a thumbnail for this because we'll just try it out with chat and see how it is. They look cool. I like their sort of eldritchy look. What do you think, little Bandio?
I'm usually not really into sci-fi like this, but it looks kind of nice. I like when they try more unusual stuff in the weird shapes.
Helps break up
And I
the
and
designs,
I
yeah.
like eldritch stuff. So yeah.
Yep. I mean, for me, when it comes to sci-fi, I think just basic sci-fi where it's like, oh, just technology versus technology is fine for me for certain settings, like Star Trek or something. But even Star Trek or Stargate has magic in it, and usually you find magic works its way into a lot of settings. And hard science settings is where it's just science. I find to be the least interesting, but I know we all have different tastes. So yeah, yeah, it's gonna be Cancer, says Stone Age. Yeah, this sounds like one of those factions that will be potentially very cancerous to play again, because it sounds like a faction that, for people who understand the mechanics and systems of it, could be potentially very powerful, like nasty. So we'll find out when it launches. If this is like in the competitive scene thing, I think people might not like this. But I think it is, to the dichotomy, I think it's really interesting. Or they might like it actually, because it takes, because the tech, the TEC are the humans, right? The Trader Emergency Coalition. They've got, like, you know, your standard ships, big human ships with big cannons that blast away at things. Then you got your Visari, and they've got like psionic sort of abilities, and they like drill and mine the ever living crap out of planets, like harvesting and like just devouring resources wherever they go. Then you have the Advent. The Advent are religious humans that have psionic and magical powers and abilities and are very religious. And so they have their own take. And then you have this Eldritch faction. I think that adds a nice dichotomy. I think the fourth faction will bring. I hope it plays out fun, but we'll have to wait and see. We'll have to see how it's executed. It's one of those that I think that, like, it's going to be tricky. But I think as a single player edition, I think this will be a nice faction to add, because I would treat this faction as a PvE enemy and just like turn up the difficulty, or play as them and just like raffle stomp other nations. But we'll see. We'll try it when it comes out. So we'll definitely see in 3 weeks. September 3rd is its launch date. God damn, September is already around the corner, chat. That's crazy. It's crazy, chat. It's gonna be winter soon. I want to put a cover over my AC unit again. I just sometimes can't believe how fast like spring and summer ends. Like as a kid, it felt like it lasted forever, but like as an adult, my God, it's just gone. It like happens and then it's gone. Don't get me wrong, I actually like fall and winter more, but than summer, because no fucking bugs. It's nice and cool. Fall is beautiful. Fall is wonderful. Winter is fun, except for driving. Driving, oh my God, especially when it's icy roads. Ugh. All right, next we have some news. So, id Software released an update. Now, there's also more news about potential things for id Software, but we'll talk about that later. Actually, there's a couple of things of news of them we'll talk about briefly. But they released a update for this QuakeCon, which is their annual updates they do for older games. They released a free expansion and update to Quake 1 that recently came out. I think it's a free update. Yeah, because it's just baked into the game. It's called Dawn of the Machine. Now, what's interesting about this is they did the last QuakeCon, I think, was it last QuakeCon? They did Quake 2 and they updated Quake 2. Maybe, because they're doing so much Quake updates to the old Quake games, maybe we could see a new Quake game in the near future. Not a Quake Champions, but like an actual Quake single-player game. Would be nice. id Software games are really fun. And I like their engine quite a bit. So let's look at the trailer. But yeah, that Quake update is available to play now. If you wish to try, you can reinstall the OG Quake. It was a free update, and basically adds like a whole new expansion. The 30th anniversary update. That was just the launch trailer. But let's read. Celebrating 30 years of Quake, the award-winning team at Machine Games, in collaboration with id Software, returns with Dawn of the Machine, a brutal new episode building on their critically acclaimed work on Dimension of the Machine and Dimensions of the Past, delivering ferocious combat, labyrinthine level design, and nightmarish realms that twist reality beyond recognition. It pushes the legacy of the genre, defining first-person shooter even further, honoring one of gaming's most enduring icons. End the nightmare, escape illusion. Ranger is trapped. My God, is every company now copying the thing I do with like emojis in my titles now? Like, what the fuck? That's me. I popularized this. Like, what the fuck? No, I didn't think it was me, but like, I did it first, chat. They're all fucking aping on the Kib style now. God damn it! I'm now mad. All right, Ranger is trapped in a dimension. By the way, that's the name of the main character. In case people don't know, his name is Ranger. Well, I don't think it's actual name, but he is a ranger of endless illusions, reliving the same violent cycles of what feels like lifetimes of dying thousands of times in a futile attempt to escape. Wearied but unbroken, he has heard rumor of the nightmare machine. Beyond the hordes of monsters twisted by an eternity, in the Elder Realms, lies the machine. It is believed its destruction will shatter the illusion, finally breaking the loop. It's free for all Quake owners, so if you already own Quake 1, it's just a free update. Which, again, I really appreciate id Software doing these things. I think they're really awesome for these like free updates to these old games, because these games are cool. I remember watching my dad play this on the Sega Saturn. It was very crunchy on there, I remember. Did not play very well. But Microsoft PC Game Store, cohesive campaign, alongside brand new soundtrack, new hidden levels, blah, blah, blah. Replayable episode loop. Time folds back on itself, unique looping structure where each return reshapes the experience, so a little bit of proceduralness to it. That's interesting. Runes unlock previously sealed paths, drawing you back to... Okay, no, not that the maps change, but like you can get new runes to open different doors, maybe? Now altered with new routes. Drawing you back through familiar spaces, now altered with new routes. Yeah. Encounters and secrets awaiting to be discovered, persistent health and ammo upgrades found throughout the realm to ensure each loop makes you stronger, introducing a new player progression. That sounds interesting. I'm not sure if that means the level changes or that you just find new doors, like keys to open new doors and pathways through the level. It also looks like the new level is making use of modern level design and going for a lot more open vertical spaces, which is interesting because whenever verticality enters a game, I think it's always nice because verticality is one of those things that early shooters didn't have a whole heckin' lot of. And one thing that, as 3D spaces were actually made use of more, they started actually making use of 3D environments properly. You started seeing verticality play bigger and bigger roles in video games. They should pay tithes for Kib for inventing emojis and titles. I know, right? They should. Massive tithes. Huge id Software tithes. Thank you for your generous id dono monies. Wow, thanks. Expect the unexpected. Reality is never stable. Shift between dimensions to solve puzzles and navigate the world or find hidden secrets scattered throughout the realms. Face enemies that arise again or transform after death. The experience encounters where the rules change without warning, forcing you to adapt or be overrun. So yeah, pretty interesting. That's interesting. So what's interesting about this to me is while this is good update, nice to see free content for a very, very old game from 1996, if that Steam title is correct, on June 26th was when this game launched. So it's still good to see games from the 1990s getting love. But I would like a new title in the Quake setting. As I kind of feel like Doom has been exhausted, I feel like Wolfenstein has run its course, and I kind of felt like Quake just kind of got left in the dust. Fuck, you got left on a cliffhanger in Quake 4, where it's like, oh yeah, we solved this thing, but there's more work to be done about the Strogg, blah, blah, blah. And then it just ends. And then nothing ever happened. Ever again. It just ended. I mean, there was that game Quake Wars, and then there was Quake Champions, but let's not count Quake Champions, guys. That was kind of shit, in my opinion. Kind of trash. For whatever reason, they turned a Quake game into a hero shooter. Fucking absolutely mind-boggling decision there. Not what arena shooters are really about, but it is one of the natural evolutions from arena shooters that became hero shooters. I still think that they shouldn't go away from their roots. Probably gets a membership, very generous. But yeah,
Yeah.
how does Indio feel about this Quake update?
Mm, I can't say much because I never played Quake. I think I played a little of Quake 3, but I barely remember anything.
My God.
But I saw there that it's gonna have multiplayer, mods, everything they showed, and it's free for people on the game, so all good.
All good, he says. We'll have to see. We'll have to see.
Yeah.
No, what's interesting about this expansion, by the way, is that it's an expansion to Quake 1. And so if you know anything about Quake story, which I do because I did a massive deep dive into the lore of Quake, don't ask why. I just keep coincidentally doing this every time a new game gets, like, or an old game gets updated. And yet it seems like I know more about it each time. But the weird points aside from that, the lore of Quake is rather interesting. It's basically Eldritch horror. And the Quake realms, like the Quake thing, is like an entire like Eldritch realm made by a crazy scientist who was corrupted by an Eldritch god, and basically converted it into basically joining with that Eldritch entity, which basically brought about an invasion on Earth of Eldritch beings. That led humanity to advance their technology massively, and then humanity, through these little Quake portals, and through that crazy scientist guy, made contact with the Strogg. The Strogg traced those portals back to Earth. The Strogg, by the way, are a race of machine people that have basically their society, for whatever reason, we don't know much about them, but they were ravaged by war, and basically all that they do now is they consume other civilizations, harvesting bodies and flesh to create more Strogg. It's called Strogification. Very silly word, but that's what it's called. They strogify people. And strogifying is basically kind of like the Borg, but nightmarishly like. You think the Borg are evil? Because the Borg are basically they're sort of an interpretation of communism in Star Trek, and that's why they're kind of like a collectivist society that's very evil, and that's their portrayal, and that's like the entire connection. The Borg represent communism in Star Trek. Well, the Strogg are kind of like inspired by the Borg from Star Trek, except the Strogg are kind of like more eldritch, nightmarish, like awfulness is what they are. And so that's what the Strogg kind of represent. They are this sort of like hellish. They take people, they slice them up, and they fucking lobotomize them and turn them into basically slaves, and they become cyborg monstrosities. And that is essentially what happens in Quake 2 when humanity goes to war with them. Now, Quake Wars, which is like a prequel game, is set when the Strogg arrive on Earth, because the Strogg find out where Earth is after the Ranger defeats the Eldritch monster and basically banishes the Eldritch monsters from bothering Earth, but he's trapped in the Eldritch like dimension. That's why this expansion is like focused on him. Meanwhile, Earth, the thing he was trying to save, gets attacked by the Strogg, and then humanity is able to fight off that invasion, but like millions of people are abducted and taken back to the Strogg planet. Humanity builds a fleet using the destroyed Strogg spaceships and their technology, reverse engineering them, and sends a massive fleet of guys to go attack. In Quake 2, you play as Wave 1, and then in Quake 4, you play as the second wave of humans arriving on the Strogg homeworld. I can't remember what it's actually called. But I swear to God, if it's called Strogoth or something, I'm going to kill myself because I can't remember. But it probably is. Oh my God, I need to Google this. If it's called Strogoth, because my brain is telling me it's called Strogoth, that's awful. What is the Strogg's homeworld name? It's Strogos. I'm killing myself. Oh my God, it's Strogos. That's so dumb. I mean, it's from the 90s, okay? Like, it's just so Strogification. Strogos. Stroganoff. Yeah, but shut the fuck up. Oh my God. It's called Strogos. The Stroger from Strogos. How does that make you feel, Indio?
Hungry.
Hungry? Oh, because stroganoff, I suppose.
Yeah.
Stroganoff is delicious. I don't know if the strog are delicious, chat. They're a little bit icky looking. But yeah. So that's like the entire synopsis. But Quake 4, you play as like a guy who was like one of the guys fighting on one of the space stations. He was a hero, I can't remember his name. And like he basically beats the crap out of like the warlords. Because the Strogos is ruled by warlord like machines. And these warlord machines, you defeat them, and then basically, okay, we defeated the leadership, but like turns out maybe not. And then it kind of ends with a cliffhanger. I mean, I remember Quake 4's advertisement because there was like a bunch of advertisement pictures which showed the strogification of your character because you get captured and like they slice off your legs and stab your stomach and like rip off your arms and replace them with like machines. That scene was haunting. Haunting as a kid. And I didn't even play the game. I just think I remember watching the G4 segment on it as a kid and being haunted by that fucking whole ordeal, being like, oh, I was like, and it looked so real back then. Now it looks very like, Play-Doh-y, but like back then it was like fucking real. That and coming through a 240p TV. Fuck. Yeah, you remember that trailer too? Yeah, it was pretty haunting. But yeah, Quake is one of those really cool settings. It is weird that over time it's a series that never really had an identity that made sense though. Because the first game is about eldritch monsters. The second game is about invading basically Nazi planet. Because the Strogg are kind of interpreted and their design is literally Nazis. But like cyborgs. And it's cool, it works. And then Quake 3 is just an arena shooter and it's not related at all to the other games, but it has characters from the comics and the lore in it. And if you look up the lore of the comics and the characters and all the stuff, like all those characters are actually part of the Quake universe, but they're taken to like some sort of alternate dimension where they play or where they fight for the amusement of like eldritch beings or something. And so it's like, what the fuck? And then Quake 4 is randomly like Quake 4 is the sequel to Quake 2. 3 has nothing to do with anything, basically, and like 4 is like a continuation of 2, but like the eldritch monster stuff kind of just disappears. And then Quake Wars is like a weird Battlefield successor made by Splash Damage, or not Battlefield successor, but Battlefield style spin-off, and it's surprisingly good. Like Quake is just so, I'm pretty sure there are Quake comics or something. I was reading a bunch of lore on it, but it was all written down and I wasn't actually like reading any comics, but I'm pretty sure I saw comic book references in that. Yeah, because I was doing a huge deep dive on Quake recently. It's just ironic that this is all coinciding within the same period. But either way, so Quake is one of those franchises that just doesn't really have a strong sense of identity. So if they are doing a sequel, it'll be interesting to see what they do. And I'm only theorizing that because it's weird that Quake keeps getting lots of love over and over again every year. So maybe there's an intention to finally do something with that IP. I mean, Doom Dark Ages, I liked it, but I know it didn't do well due to the Game Pass thing, and I know some people have mixed opinions on it. I personally thought the story wasn't very good, but the gameplay for Doom Dark Ages is exceptionally good. The writing was it wasn't terrible, but it was just kind of like could have been better. It was kind of mid, but it was fun. The gameplay was a lot of fun. I've been actually thinking about picking up that Doom expansion later. But yeah, Quake is really cool. And so, fingies crossed that maybe Quake will get another chance. Maybe Quake will get some love in the near future. I would be very grateful for that. Welcome Stream Grumpy and Redacted and Night Motorcyclist and Chad. But yeah, so like, that's my thing on Quake. We'll have to see if that's true. Now, there are more rumors. And there's also more information about id Software. I didn't grab articles on this, I don't think, but I actually memorized these things because I read them. So basically, id Software is getting hit by those Microsoft layoffs. id Software developers complained, basically stating that these layoffs are basically going to do some serious damage from some of the people inside the studio, saying that like the people we're losing are basically going to ensure that we're not going to be able to make games of the same level of quality as Dark Age again. Like, the next game we make is going to be notably smaller in comparison because they don't have the same resources. I don't really know the situation on the ground floor of id Software, but if the internal people are leaking that information or saying that now, things probably aren't looking good, if I had to wager a guess. So that's not particularly good news about the id Software development stuff, which is strange to me, because id Software's games, unlike Halo Studios, I think are a lot better and a lot stronger and should deserve more support and resources, whereas I think Halo Studios should be shut down and liquidated because it can't produce anything of value. So, who knows, my dudes? Microsoft just it seems unwilling to let go of Halo Studios and keeps pumping money into it. But then again, there's been recent cuts, so who can say for certain? There's also rumors going around that apparently Halo, its alleged remake sequels have been canceled. That's a rumor. I've not seen any confirmation on that, so take it with a pinch of salt. But yeah, one of those cases of like not sure what the fate of id Software is going to be. It would be regrettable if they continue to do this. My concern with these cuts, by the way, to id Software's team and personnel is so. Let's recap real quickly. Big problem that happened with Halo after Bungie left is 343 took over, right? 343 takes over, and they use this thing called the Slipspace engine, which is named after the space travel in Halo. The Slipspace engine, the issue with it, and because I have friends who actually work there, and I know because I talked to them, the issue why the Slipspace engine couldn't be used and continue to be used was because the change of hands and personnel. Too much loss of information. Because Microsoft didn't want to keep paying the same people and wanted to basically, like, after a year, your contract's up, get the fuck out. New guy comes in, he has to learn what the previous guy was doing and build on top of that. But because of that, working with the Slipspace engine, these guys don't know how the Slipspace engine works. The reason why they want to switch to Unreal is, again, to switch people off of this proprietary engine so they can easily switch people in and out of the studio. That way they don't have to pay them more than what they're worth. And the issue with that mentality is that fundamentally means that you're never building up a knowledge base inside the studio. Nobody's ever learning anything because the minute they do learn anything, they're immediately gone. So the studio is not learning anything at all because the corporation is trying to be as greedy as possible. Specifically, Microsoft executives are being greedy in this particular case. They're not allowing that knowledge base to grow, and because that knowledge base isn't growing, 343 and Halo Studios is never learning from anything. And because they're never changing out the leadership on 343 or Halo Studios, the leadership is incompetent and just gets a pass, and the only people who are fired are the ground floor people. They're never fixing the root cause issue. What's the fundamental issue that all 343 and Halo Studios games have? They're all the same leadership. They have the same problem leaderships. The other issue is they want to outsource. The other issue is they want to switch over to AI. And so, again, because they're using AI, because they're using outsourcing so rapidly for saving as much money as possible, they stopped making games of quality. It's the fundamental reason as to why you cannot outsource and change studio like people that much. You need to actually build up knowledge, and that knowledge base grows, and that experience grows. The reason why games aren't the way they used to be is because publishers aren't letting studios develop a culture anymore. The studios aren't allowing for the training of people. There is no studio culture anymore. 343 and Halo Studios doesn't have a culture. It has no soul. It has fundamentally lost it. And studios that do well develop a culture and a soul. And that soul is what you see in the video games they produce. If you don't develop that, if you don't build up a culture in a studio of like people working on something, it'll never have personality. It'll lose that. A great example is Gears E-Day, right? Gears E-Day multiplayer beta is fucking amazingly good for some reason. Like, I was fucking mind boggled. I was expecting it to be kind of bad. But I was shocked and pleasantly surprised that it was good. Now, I don't know if the campaign's good, but the multiplayer was fun. But there are things you'll notice that are different. Like, for example, the art team. Remember, they used to have big fucking beefy necks and beefy like characters and stuff? Well, the art director himself was a bodybuilder. That art director left. New art director came in. Art direction changed. And so the issue is that when you have changing hands with this massive project that's ongoing for a long time, you're going to see some subtle changes. Some might be good. Some might be bad. Some things might be artistic and subjective. Some might not be. And so that's the reality. That's how this works. That's always how it's been, and that's always how it will be. Not building up a knowledge base means you're never, ever going to grow. And that's the big problem. id Software was, I think, internally sabotaged, and I'm going to call it now, and I called it back then. I think id Software is set up to fail purely based on the fact that they're mandated from above to have certain things, right? But I fundamentally think the Game Pass thing has been a net disaster. Mostly due to the fact that I know Game Pass might be good for some chatfishes, and that's great for you guys, and I'm happy you guys are getting your money's worth out of it. But for the studios, it's been utterly gutting studios and utterly like destroying teams. Like the damage it has caused has left a wake of destruction in its path, and I don't think we fully understand the gravity of that destruction. A lot of people don't feel it yet, and I think when we finally realize how much damage is done to the knowledge base because of having to change hands, because of having to let people go and stuff like that, I think it's gonna be too late. Like I'm just saying that because like we've seen this cycle repeated many times over, and I've been covering games for a long time, and I've been playing games since I was the littlest guy imaginable, right? And so have many of you. And when following these trends and patterns, you start to, well, there's a certain pattern recognition you start to notice. So the one thing I'm expecting here is that, sorry, Stone Age says self-insert art director. Yes. So you know there's self-inserts in games? Yeah. In the case of Gears, the reason why they were beefy was entirely because he self-inserted. And while that may be cringe to some, it actually worked out because it made more sense in the setting. Sometimes it can work. Sometimes it works out to the benefit of things. Other times you get really weird looking characters that don't feel like they fit roles because they're just somebody in the studio. But yes, that's just one of the things I'm noticing. That's one of the things I want to point out because I think we're noticing a pattern here of destruction and disaster, and I think it's following in the wake of not just one thing. I don't think the Game Pass is to blame for everything, by the way. I think it's just a part of a puzzle. Just like I think the AI thing is also bad. Just like I also think the constant firing of people on the team is also part of the role too. I think all of these things is combining to create a maelstrom of chaos. And that's why we see these studios having the issues they're having. And I think if we don't see a change in that direction soon, I think the damage will be irreversible to a lot of these studios. Because once the damage is done, once you lose a certain amount of people, like you lose part of the team. And you know exactly what this is like. I know you guys know. Like imagine your shifts, right? Or whatever you're working on. Imagine your crew, your guys, your boys, your gals, the guys you work with, right? Now imagine that like half of them get wiped out the next day. Like they're just gone. How would that change your workplace? Like that would massively do it. And then you get guys that just come in and go. Like they learn, they get trained, they learn, and then they leave. And they got to train the next night, learn, and they leave. Like that's chaotic. That's not conducive to a productive work environment. And that's why we're seeing these fucking haphazard shit show games. And it's just absolutely piling on like crazy. And I think the Game Pass thing is a part of it because I think the Game Pass thing, the studio only gets like a little bit of money, and it's only like a hard set number. And it's not like the traditional way where merit would dictate what games did well. Rather, it's forced, it's sort of like government intervention or governmentally subsidized companies, right? It's not letting the natural course of a game do well. If this game is truly good, if Dark Ages is truly bad, then it should fail. And that should be the natural cause of it, right? It fails because it wasn't good enough. And so the market decides, and the market's chosen and selected this game like natural selection for extinction. They can't, if the studio that can't make good games is naturally selected and moved to the extinction box, and then they poof out of existence. The studios that do well and their games make a lot of money should rise to the top. That's how Bungie gained their success. That's how Epic Games gained their success with Gears. That's how it's always been in the industry. But now that we have large corporations like Microsoft or Sony subsidizing these companies, they're preventing them from actually failing or succeeding because they're meddling too much. There's too much interference. So I think the ultimate cause here with like id Software's layoff and stuff like that is back to the whole like, you know, that. And because we're talking about this, I might as well just segue into the next natural subject, which is this, by the way. But there we go. Yeah, because it's one of those things like you have to have people building a knowledge base, building a culture. And if we keep getting this like changing hands thing, like we're just going to end up with more watered down like games that have no actual influence whatsoever. It's why when a team loses its like composer, like Martin O'Donnell, The music for new Halos are constantly aping the old Halos because Marty knew what the fuck the music needed to sound like. And when they lost him, they never were able to recover that. And the same goes for the writing too. Whether it's a writer, whether it's an art director, whether it's a game designer. Once you lose that guy, a part of the game shifts forever. Sometimes for the better, and in some cases, like with Halo, sometimes for the worse. And that's why I think it's incredibly important that whenever you're supposedly switching hands, let's say that Marty O'Donnell wants to leave, right? Because his life's moving on. That's fine. You can respect that. Everybody's got their own lives. Lives pull them in a different direction, right? Okay. Train your replacement. Give him the tips, the knowledge base that you learned, the best you can. Train him, and then go ahead and retire. Train a successor. That way Bungie has somebody to follow thereafter. But the issue is Bungie didn't choose that path. Bungie also fired him, right? Just like, when it came to Bethesda fucking lost Mick Gordon. Stuff like that. And that was huge because that fundamentally lost certain things that their games had. And that break in those people, like, they'll never come back. Martin will never return. Just like Jeff Van Dyke will never return to goddamn, Creative Assembly. And like over time, they get older and older, and eventually they're retired, and they're not going to produce anything anymore. You lose them forever. And that knowledge they had is lost to time forever. That's the big concern I'm seeing. We're seeing a lot of the AAA sufferings. Now, in the case of the AA's, we're not really seeing that too much, or the indies too much. They're retaining their knowledge bases, and they're actually what's looking like trend-wise, they're going to eventually supplant the old. Which is fine. I mean, that's, it's good that new companies come into the fold. But I think we could have avoided losing large companies and large game production studios in the first place had we just simply not let them decay. Yep. Because in the case of Bethesda, same. One of the most legendary composers of all time, fucking goddamn Jeremy Soule, got Me Too'd. What did Bethesda do? Fire him. After it came out that it was bogus and he didn't touch anybody or whatever, did they apologize? Did they let him come back? No. And so what's really happening here? Corporate politics. That's what's happening here. There's something further along than just what's going on the surface, right? It's sort of like with the Magic the Gathering guy who wants to get rid of white people. Specifically white men from card games. The sooner we're gone, the better. It's like, oh, okay. That's very weird that you view the world only racially. Or in the case of what happened with that one CEO for Blizzard, right? The guy that was literally pushing out white people from the studio by canceling them with the fake stuff about breast milk in the refrigerator thing. Yeah, we laugh about it, but that laughter only aids them. Because ultimately the whole breast milk thing in the fridge thing was a ploy to get you to see Blizzard that way. They wanted you to laugh at them. They wanted you to do damage to them. And it succeeded completely. They managed to fire a lot of white people because of that. Because they were blamed for having a sex room or whatever, the Cosby room or whatever. I don't remember what the fuck. But all that shit was made the fuck up. Made up. Lies. To get rid of people in the studio they didn't want. To get rid of Jeff Van Dyke, to get rid of the Australian team, to get rid of, the white dudes in the office, to get rid of the composer Jeremy Soule, to get rid of whoever, to push them out. The same thing that happens in the games industry isn't even unique, by the way. It happened in the other entertainment sectors and other areas all as well. It happened to Disney. Remember what happened to the animation sector? What happened with them? The Treasure Planet fiasco. That's what happened. The intentional sabotage, advertising with bad advertisement, putting it on a terrible release window, intentional sabotage to get rid of them so that other people in the company can get the resources for their projects. This kind of sabotage that occurs internally needs to be nipped in the bud, and more studios need to do self-investigations on themselves. That's the issue here. That's fundamentally the problem. The reason why Grumpy Rat, Blizzard makes crap games is because of the milk thing. Before that, the milk fiasco, Blizzard's games was actually still well received. Blizzard was actually at its zenith point. When that happened was also when everything coincides with their games turning to shit. It's coincidence? No, it's intentional. It's not a coincidence. All that knowledge base that Blizzard lost, the reason why their games fell off in quality, stems from the fact that the mass loss of knowledge base, the mass loss of people being pushed out of the studio. That's why their games coincide with a massive downturn. I mean, that literally fits with Mists of Pandaria and Cataclysm. Because it all fucking happened around the same point with Warlords of Draenor. It all lines up. It all matches. Everything was crap afterwards. What the heck? You had like a little last like Hail Mary thing. Some people say Legion was good or whatever. But like when you look at like the general consensus of a lot of their games, like Diablo 4 or everything that came post that situation, complete disaster. Overwatch 2, it doesn't just line up a little bit. It lines up for a goddamn reason. And that reason's important. That's why it's important to figure out why things are happening the way they are. Because knowing is half the battle. You can recognize the telltale signs. It's why I'm concerned about id Software's layoffs. id Software is trending to where Blizzard was trending to where Halo Studios was trending. That loss of those people will be that way. And bear in mind, that's not the beginning of it either. It's been happening sooner. But it's good to note. So, while I do expect maybe id Software is going to be announcing something exciting in the near future, be advised, be wary, because that thing may not necessarily be something we are going to want. It might be either diminished or it might be completely hijacked. Microsoft is being subsumed by a lot of people who aren't even from the United States of America, because Microsoft is mostly replacing a lot of its people with people from India. And there's a correlation there that is worth noting. There's a big correlation there. And we've talked about this before. We've talked about this with Bucky. We talked about this with the other guys. But it's one of these things that it's a telltale sign of something that's fundamentally happening, that's changing, and that will mean things for everything underneath them. So anything touched by them, whether it's Age of Empires 2 is still going strong, still has expansions coming out for it. So does Age of Empires 4 and stuff like that. But eventually, the rot at the top is going to fall down to the bottom, and it's going to happen by what studios are the most successful. Bethesda's already dead. Like, let's not make any mistake. After Starfield, I think nobody's under any illusion that Bethesda's going to turn out anything fucking remotely good. I don't think Elder Scrolls 6 is going to be good. I will gladly be wrong on that. But I think it's going to be completely trash. To be honest. Just like the next WoW expansion is probably going to be fucking garbage. Like the last one was garbage, and the one before that was garbage. Because the issue is that knowledge-based loss, once you lose those guys, your studio's changed. It's not Blizzard anymore. Blizzard doesn't exist. Blizzard hasn't existed for actually over a decade now. Bungie hasn't existed for about the same, actually. These companies are dead. Like, they're just skin suits walking around. And it's kind of sad, but it's the reality. And that's how you have to view them. They aren't there anymore. But like what people are already saying about Games Workshop, same thing. Skin suit. Fucking Disney and LucasArts games, skin suits half the time. Doesn't mean everything they produce is going to be bad, because there's some good studios underneath them. But it does mean that you should always be skeptical, right? Because there are a couple exciting things coming out for the like LucasArts like IPs, right? There's Star Wars Galactic Racers, which is being made by the Burnout devs. It's nice to see them returning. But at the same time, it's like, got to be wary, because it's still being published under something kind of sketchy. But always go into it with an open mind, right? I mean, that's like Gears E-Day, right? We streamed the beta for that the other day, and it blew everyone's mind how good it was. Like, nobody could quite believe it. We were kind of expecting it to be kind of crap, especially following Halo Campaign Evolved. Because it's like, oh boy, and like, if you look at the track record for Coalition, what's their track record? Their track record's really bad. Gears 4 wasn't very good. I think that's the general consensus. I think we can all kind of agree that 4 was kind of a complete downgrade. 5 was abysmal. And so the expectations for E-Day were probably rock bottom, which is probably why it's being sung high praises at the moment. Because the bar was set monstrously low, wasn't it? But yeah, it's one of those cases of like, oh my god, when you look at these things, chat, like it just makes you ask like, oh boy. Is there a correlation? Is there something we should be worried about? Is this connected? Doesn't mean there isn't outliers. That doesn't mean the studio can't recover if their leadership changes. But it's one of those cases of like when you look at Creative Assembly, you look at these companies, you got to ask yourself, is this something I want to put my faith into? Is this something I want to pre-order? And often the answer, the safest answer, is always what? Wait. Always wait and see. Because you never know what's going to be good, and you never truly know what's going to be bad. But there are definitely telltale signs. But yeah, that's my TED Talk on the fact that I think that knowledge base loss in id software is a bad sign. But we'll have to wait and see what happens. Now, as for the... Oh, go ahead.
I was locked in here. Did you read the Magnetado?
Oh, yeah, no, I was finishing my pot. Good catch. Magnetado donated a very generous $5 says companies need to reward and foster humans and talent for longevity. Absolutely. Spot on. 100% agree with you. Thank you for the donation, too. You're right. It is a very important thing to foster good things and always reward people who work hard, right? Be like, you're doing a good job, you're making good progress, you're working hard, and you're doing a fantastic job with this. You should be rewarded. Your job should be fucking secure. That's what scares me, right? That's what scares me about the Game Pass thing. Because the Game Pass thing fucks with sales and sales numbers. Doom Dark Ages, which I personally like, and I know some people don't, and I respect that opinion. I think that the story is bad. Well, I don't think it's bad. I think it's just boring. It's just generic. But I think the gameplay was a lot of fun, and I thought it was really fun. And I think the game would, in my opinion, I think the game would have done a lot better had it not been a part of the Game Pass thing. And I think the id Software layoffs are connected to the fact that it didn't sell well because of the Game Pass thing. The heavy incentivization on Game Pass basically is going to cut down sales. Executives are going to look at that because they never look at the big picture. They always look at the immediate results and think of only in terms of quarterlies. They're going to be like, oh my god, the quarterly sales number for Doom Dark Ages is abysmal. Better fire half the team. And it's like, okay, yep, yeah. That's the decision they make. And so all those people who made that game fun, the writer, I'd say, could probably, use a beating. Jesus, it was so boring with the writing. But the gameplay was well designed. Yeah, Hi-Fi Rush. Same thing happened to them. Never played their game, but I heard the same thing. Like, their game did well. They're like, wow, we made a game. It's like a smash success. And then Microsoft's like, and life support pulled. We're done with you. In any normal world, a good businessman, a good CEO at Microsoft would look at what Hi-Fi Rush did when it happened and reward them. We're increasing your funding. Not only are we increasing your funding, but we're going to put more funding into your advertisement campaign for the next game you do. We're going to help psych people up for it. That's what should happen, right? That's exactly what should happen. Instead, they get their funding cut and they get shut down. And Microsoft hasn't done that the first time. Ensemble Studios made Age of Empires. And what did they do? They pulled the plug on them. One of the most legendary game series of all time, and they didn't even fucking bat an eye. They didn't even feel bad about it. They tried to be sneaky about it. Because they didn't want to pay the people that worked at Ensemble. Like, Microsoft hasn't just done this once. Like, you know how there's that meme with the Grim Reaper entering a door and it's got EA's logo on it over the top, and like it's all the studios EA killed? But I think people are often forgetting that Microsoft is also the same. And a lot of these big publishers aren't so goddamn different. Now, a bad studio doing a bad job, getting its funding cut or reduced, makes sense. Because they're not making titles that sell. The market's decided that they just aren't doing well. And a good publisher will step in and intervene and try to set the studio right. So that they're, square and actually producing something of value. That's when a publisher should intervene. When a studio is malfunctioning. When a studio isn't doing its job. Like Midway did with Rise and Fall Civilization. When Midway interceded and realized that the developers weren't delivering the game, Midway pulled their funding. Midway then hired their own people and finished the product for them. And then published the work afterwards. Because it needed to be done. Because under the other studio, nothing was being done. It wasn't going to make it. It was not remotely close to being release ready. That's an example of a publisher doing their job. Midway is producing the product, getting it out the door to the user, so the user's getting the product. If the studio can't do that, then the publisher's got to step on them. That's just the reality. But in the case of Microsoft, whenever the studio can do something, Microsoft just steps on them anyways. Which is funny. Because EA doesn't even do that. EA sets up studios to fail due to incompetence. Like with Visceral competing against Resident Evil. Like, what the fuck? Like, talk about just absolutely nightmarish. Your new Dead Space franchise, you're going to compete with Resident Evil. Ah, yes, that thing from the 90s that's basically the king of, like, action survival horror games. Yeah, you're going to compete with that. Okay. Okay. And if you can't pull, like, a half their numbers, you're done, boy. You're done. That kind of thinking is how you lose successful developers. They may not print and make the most amazing games, but look at Visceral Games. They made Dante's Inferno, which was really fun. It's a fun sort of like take on the whole like God of War thing, and it's got a unique twist to it. Then they made Dead Space, which is again a twist on the Resident Evil 4 game. And the same thing with Respawn with Titanfall, this chat points out. Same thing happened with Titanfall. Yep. And there's a ton of people who will actually claim that they didn't sabotage Titanfall at all. That Titanfall just naturally was not a popular idea. There will be tons of people that will say that, by the way. I'm actually flabbergasted. Because Titanfall was actually, like, for me, was surprisingly good. Like, I didn't expect it to be as good as it was. The first game had a lot of problems, but 2 really shortened that up and did a lot of improvements. But despite that, like that release window, what the fuck? Between Call of Duty and Battlefield, are you fucking insane? Are you fucking for a first-person shooter? And then people have the gall to say, "Oh, it didn't affect the sales." Oh, yes, it did. Yes, it did. Because people aren't made out of infinite money. I can't go and buy every single video game that comes out, and nor should you have to. It's like, okay, hey boys, what are we gonna play? What do we want to play? What game is gonna be the big multiplayer game we're gonna play? Yeah, let's all buy the new COD game, and let's also buy the Battlefield game and Titanfall, and let's equally spend the same amount of time between all 3 games, perfectly equally. It's not gonna the fact that they're releasing back to back isn't gonna affect our financial decision. No, you have 2 pre-established franchises that are well known: Call of Duty and Battlefield. They're both older. They have longer and more rooted fan bases than anything Titanfall has at this point for Titanfall 2. Obviously, Titanfall 2 is not going to do well. Because when those friend groups ask each other, what game would you go with? Should we take a chance on this new up-and-coming guy? Or should we go with what we know works? They're going to choose the safe option for their investment. Every time. Only a handful of people are going to take a risk with Titanfall 2. And I'm glad most of you agree with me, because like it boggles my mind that people like actually say that it had nothing to do with its failure. It's like, how could it not? Like literally, Bethesda, when they dropped Oblivion, apologized to some studios for dropping their game within other games, and games got obliterated their sales. Indies faded and died because of that. And it's sad too. Genuinely, it caused so much problems for a lot of companies. Like, a lot of them basically just got completely shafted because of that. And their dreams were ended because Bethesda just shadow dropped Oblivion like that. It's sad. And it's something that we need to be aware of. Because people only have so much money. And that's what these big execs don't understand. That's why when you're releasing your game and you're trying to compete directly with something else, the thing that's longer and more well-established is always going to do better. What happened to every World of Warcraft killer? They all fucking died. What happened to every Halo killer? They all fucking died. You know what killed Halo? You know what killed WoW? It wasn't the WoW killer. It wasn't the Halo killer. It was WoW. It was Halo. They killed themselves. Because the minute you try to compete with something that's well-established, that's well-liked, setting yourself to fail. Because the issue is they have an established fandom. Just annoying. Agitating. Oh, this year's big title releases are gonna be competing hard with one another too. Yeah, they are. I mean, for example, Halo Campaign Evolved is not doing well. It's bombing right now. And people got mad at me for saying that. Very mad. But either way, despite that fact, Halo Campaign Evolved is bombing, whether you love it or not. It doesn't matter. Like, no bias. It's just a reality. Gears E-Day is going to be competing with Campaign Evolved. And Gears E-Day, when it launches later, I think October 1st? Or, yeah, something like that. It's going to completely BTFO Campaign Evolved. Like this year. And it, like, just playing the multiplayer, it's so much better. Even if the campaign is woke and gay, which it might be, it'll still be better than whatever the hell Campaign Evolved was. Because Campaign Evolved was woke and gay, and it played terribly. And it played on top of that. The bare minimum of making a game that will at least sell is you have to make it serviceable. It has to at very least be playable in a fun way. If you can achieve that, you'll at least get sales in that margin. But what you're setting yourself up with failure for is when you start charging $70 for a video game or like $80 for a video game. That's going to sabotage sales. Gears E-Day is in serious trouble still, even though it's probably going to do well, and it probably will. But it's still going to not get as many sales as it could have gotten had it been charged even at a more like standard rate of the olden era of $60, right? But if it was more reasonable, it would have done a lot better. Grumpy Rat says, that's why you should make things out of passion and to make a fun game. Just look at Palworld. Absolutely right. You know what they said, Grumpy, during Epic Games, what they used to say? They'd get into arguments. They talked about it in one of those developer commentaries. Get in arguments about all the time about games. But honestly, at the end of every argument, the game that won, or the idea that won, sorry, the idea that won was whatever was the coolest, whatever was the most fun. That's the way it should be. Is it cool? Is it fun? Am I excited about this? And if the answer is yes, go for it. If somebody says something that's better than that, go for that. If it fits, like if it fits and it's good and it feels good and it sounds right and it plays right, odds are it is right. Just roll with it. That happens to me sometimes when I'm working on stuff. Sometimes I want something to be a certain way, and the reality is my idea sucked, and the idea wasn't good. It happens. Not everyone's going to have a banger every time, but then somebody comes along and points out like, hey, what if we did it this way? Oh, that's better. Let's go with that way. That's way more interesting. And you go with the best idea. It's okay for you not to have a good idea. Also, welcome to Stream Gungan. He's been a member for 31 months as a Sulfurfishy. Thank you for the long-term support. But yeah, the strongest ideas, the funnest ideas should win. And that's why Palworld did so well. And the fun thing about Palworld, by the way, its combat systems, like, it's serviceable. It's not the best combat I've ever played, but it's serviceable. And the game is fun. It's a fun idea with a fun sort of capture and like get new monsters and like level up loop. And it works. And you know what's funny about that is it didn't have to have the best combat system. It didn't have to have the best graphics. It didn't have to have, the most ridiculous player count, like a bajillion players to be fun. It just was fun. And that was good enough. It didn't need to be like earth-shattering. It didn't need to like, it fucking revolutionized. It's a whatever the fuck that term is, India. What was the fucking thing? It's a strand genre or whatever. Or stranding genre. Death Stranding.
Oh, Stranding, yeah.
It's a new genre. It's a stranding. It didn't have to strand genre. It didn't have to make up a new genre. It's a genre that already exists. And guess what? It's still fun. It's still cool. It's still interesting. In the same way Valheim has carved out its own niche. You don't have to kill the other game. You don't have to be a WoW killer. You don't have to be a Halo killer. You just be fun. You don't have to be a Pokemon killer. You just make a fun game and Pokemon will kill itself. Like, look at it. That's what's funny to me. That's what's goddamn funny to me. You just make something fun. No, they still are mad. You don't have to be, you don't even, because Palworld didn't even set themselves up to be a Pokemon killer. They just like, hey, this is a fun idea. This is a fun game. Let's make it. And then Pokemon's like, and like, look at how that worked out. Did Ring really help them? No. Did bullying other companies help them in the end? No. Palworld was successful in spite of all of that. Despite the fact that a mountain of allegations and like legal stuff was stacked against them. The U.S. courts, looking at this was like, nah, they're fine. It's not, they're not aping your Pokemons. You still have Pokemons. Theldred says, to be fair, Pal World's appeal is definitely watching Pokemon absolutely flip its shit over it. Yeah,
I still find it funny
that's true.
that Nintendo made a game called Palands that is completely AI made by what it looks.
Oh god, yeah,
I I feel they made that only they could use it for patent stuff, copyright stuff.
no, absolutely. Like it kind of feels petty, doesn't it? It's like it's
Yeah,
Paladins. It's like, oh my god, Nintendo,
it
shut the
it
fuck
is it is so bad.
And this is
They removed every single trailer, by the way.
that's funny.
Yeah, you can't find the trailers anymore. They remove it.
So here's the thing, right? Now, not to piss on Nintendo's little cornflakes too much, but little Nintendo guy, look at me, little Nintendo man. Like all you got to do is just put some effort into Pokemon and it'll sell well again. This is a problem you can fix yourself by just simply out competing the competition. Just make your game fun. Just quit making shitty, crappy Pokemon games that nobody likes and is buggy and don't work. Make the games good, and guess what's gonna happen, little Nintendo man? People will buy your stuff again. Fucking dummy.
Even 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 the even the recent games just give it proper animations and voice acting. They have money for that.
Yeah, they literally.
The game is very body bones. All the games had better animations.
Yeah, I mean, all they got to do with Pokemon is just put some effort into their games, and they'll start selling again. It's not like Pound World's like, oh my god, they've completely like the game they've made is a fun game. It's not like a great, amazing, epic that's gonna be like, holy shit, this is redefining the game industry. They just made a fun game, and that is mogging on them.
Yeah, it should have a fun gameplay look.
Oh my god, being a Nintendo hater has never felt more justified, lol. That's fair. I don't blame you guys for hating on Nintendo because I hate them too. There's my big problem with
They are
Nintendo
that.
is that Nintendo has some really good IPs. They have some really great games. But for whatever fucking reason, their little piece of shit corporation is so arrogant and so full of themselves that they're too hoity-toity to put their games on any other platforms or put their games on PC because they gotta have their insular, hyper, like elitist market that is that only on the Nintendo, only for that, only that thing. They're still stuck in their exclusive mindset. Even Microsoft and their fucking retarded shit put their games on PC. Even Sony and their fucking mind-bendingly backwards ass thinking puts a lot of their games on PC. Now they are changing that because they're fucking idiots, but it's not like it's any loss because the games are okay. Go ahead, have exclusive Sony. What games? That's what I thought. Like what game? Go back to being exclusive with your non-existent new game. We're gonna be exclusive again. Okay. Oh,
I find it funny that I believe a little after a week, Nintendo no, Sony said they will stop making physical releases. People started making a functional PS5 emulator. They, which it's
oh
funny
my
because
god.
they are making that, but they also joking about that's gonna like be an emulator for 5 games.
Nice. I mean, yeah. I'll be real. When I think of like, oh, like what console games would I really wish were on PC? You know what I think of? I think of 7th gen and 6th gen and 5th gen games. And I think about those games. For those who don't know, I think of like Xbox 360, PS3, Wii, PS2, GameCube, N64, Xbox OG, PlayStation 1. Those are the games I think about. Now, it might be just because of my generation, right? But those are the games like, oh man, I wish those were on PC. I wish I could play Defender 2002 by Midway on PC. I really wish, like, I didn't have to emulate it. Wish it had a Steam release or a GOG release or something. But it doesn't. I never, ever, 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 ever think about PS4 or even Xbox One titles for that matter, even before the current gen stuff. I'm like, oh, I really wish I could. Uh, Fuck. I look at my shelf and there's like 4 games for my Xbox One. And there's like one for my PS4. Like, I don't know. I wish I don't know. I don't really care. I don't really care.
Yeah, I usually go for to PS2 and PS3 at best.
There's like a couple of like the old consoles. There's a shit ton of games I wish were on PC.
Yes.
But for like new stuff, like I don't even know if I give a damn. Like half the new games are either really gay and lame or they're just boring for like AAA stuff. Like there's only a handful of ones. Like the only one I can remember is like Indiana Jones: The Great Circle. I was surprised by. I thought it was gonna be trash, but it was good. At least I liked it. And then what was the other one? Doom Dark Ages. I did not like Doom Eternal, and I was expecting myself to not like Dark Ages, and then Dark Ages came out, and I was like, whoa, actually, kind of like this. That's kind of weird. So I surprised myself there. Sometimes you have expectations for certain games, and sometimes certain games scratch certain itches that no games ever did. And you're like, ooh, that's nice. But like, yeah, it's one of those weird cases. One of those weird cases where it's like, that's like kind of it. I can't think of like other modern games. The only thing I can think of from Nintendo is like Pikmin 4. I liked Pikmin 4. I thought it was a lot of fun. I'd like to play it again even. But like beyond that, like uh modern Switch titles. I can't think of anything. I'm sure there's something that's probably fun, but like can't be fucked. Can't be fucked.
Probably the only Nintendo game I want to play is the Unicorn Overload because it's a vanilla-ware game and they kind of stuck on consoles. But that's it. One
Oh,
game.
oh my god. Mackie says the only game I have for Xbox One is Baldur's Gate 1 and 2 Enhanced Edition, and I don't even have an Xbox One to play it. I just have it because I'll get one eventually. I mean, yeah, at this point, my dude, you might be better off just getting them on GOG when they're on sale. 'Cause they go on sale on Good Old Games for like, I think like $2 or something. Real cheap.
Yep.
And that way you don't have to waste money on an Xbox. Because like Baldur's Gate 1 and 2 will probably run on a potato. Like it don't really matter. Hell, I think you can get Baldur's Gate for your phone even. I don't know how that would play, but I have Planescape Torment on my phone. I know. The novelty of seeing it on my phone was just too irresistible. I had to see what it looked like. And it's as cursed and as terrible as you would imagine. It's like, what the fuck? This is on a phone? This isn't natural. It should be on a PC. It's not right. It's not right. Dodger says, not gonna lie, it's been harder and harder for me to keep up on the Bunchcast topics because I haven't bought a AAA in actual years. It's why we don't really cover AAA hardly at all anymore, except for like when some news drops. My rainy day entertainment fund has literally started accruing interest. God damn. There's actually a lot of good games though. I know we're talking about bad stuff right now, but there's actually a lot of good stuff. Grumpy says, I got Doom 1, 2, and 64, and Doom 2016 for like $3 on Steam the other day. Yeah, keep your eyes peeled for Steam and GOG sales. There's one Steam sale for a really good classic from my childhood that was mentioned to me by Tauber, so special shout out to Tauber, that there is a special sale by Pandemic Studios Army Men RTS. It's 75% off. I don't know if it runs out of the box on Steam, but I know it runs on GOGs. And they also have the Army Men bundle for $5.96. This may not be a game for everybody because it is like an old game, but yeah, it's an example of like things on sale. This is a game that I have very fond memories of as a kid, and I love revisiting. Came out 2002, and it's like one of those games where it's just a lot of fun, and it's fun to come back to every once in a while because it's got a lot of charm. It holds up. It holds up because of the stylization, I think. But yeah,
That's how you playing this.
it was cute. Just playing with like little toy army men and watching them blow each other up. It was cute. The Army Men series was always a cool series to me, and I was always sad when it died, when 3DO went under. I know some people hate Army Men with a burning passion. Some kids didn't enjoy it like I did when I grew up. Despite the fact their games were kind of like
yes.
okayish. I mean, not all Army Men games. Some of them are third-person shooters or like vehicle games where you drive helicopters and stuff. Only, I think, like one Army Men game is an RTS. I think it's just Army Men and RTS is the only one that I think of. Because Army Men World War is a top-down sort of like Diablo game. It's not really Diablo, but like you move like clicking on the ground, and then you shoot. It's weird. It's like Diablo, kinda, but it's different. It's very different. Very. 2K, another dead studio. Are they dead? Let's see. What have they published lately?
They showed be of the Borderlands.
Well, they published Civilization 7, and that ain't doing so good. Mostly negative. Ooh. Man, see, I played this. I kind of enjoyed the idea of it, and I was like, okay, with some work and like corrections, this could be fun. And then what did they do? They just never did anything. And they just doubled down on the bad instead of changing it. Oh god, they published Borderlands 4? Oh, rip.
Yeah, they do all the Borderlands.
XCOM 2, a completely dead
Human Squad
franchise.
as well.
Oh god.
Oh
BioShock?
yeah, Bioshock. Yes, they
Okay.
had their hands on many games.
I forgot that they were publishers for BioShock. But yeah, BioShock's, I mean, technically all these game series, like most of them are dead. Except for like the Civilization one and basketball. Borderlands, kind of crap. The Mafia series.
We'll remember the 2K launcher.
I remember all those crappy third-party launchers. 2K launcher, Paradox's launcher. It's like,
It was so bad.
And so many of them still have those god-awful launchers to this day. Truly terrible. Gregor's gives a membership. Very generous. Thank you very much. But yeah, you can find lots of good games for relatively cheap on GOG and stuff. GOG does these really nice sales every once in a while. Let's see. I don't want to write a review right now. Leave me alone, GOG. Yeah.
Avatar.
Like, for example, here's my Magic 3, $5. Super cheap. And if you look at this, you can actually find games for relatively cheap. And if you get them on sale, you can buy like a dozen games for like $60. And you'll have a bucket full of games when you wait for sales. That's why the usual strategy for games and stuff is always wait for a sale. And if you can, unless you really want it now, you know, and you'll usually get it for really cheap, and you'll have like a bucket load of games to play through that'll last you like a month or like a couple months, depending on how fast you play through them. Chatfish are sad. Mafia had a good run until Mafia 3. I never played Mafia 3. Mafia 2 was the only one I played. It was kind of cool.
I never played the Mafia.
But my biggest problem with Mafia 2 is it's really cool. It feels like it's gonna like expand with like more mechanics, but it never does, and it just ends. Mafia is one of those game series that you got to realize real quickly is actually a very linear game, and isn't actually a sandbox. It has a sandbox to it, but like it's mostly just like you do the story and then you beat it and then it's over. You never really just do sandboxy things in it. I was disappointed by that.
I'll let you hit Ugo for you.
Holy crap, he did. That was a lucky roll. You guys now green.
How much is to change the avatar is $10, right?
Yeah, why? Somebody asking?
I believe Greg was asking for the towel, but it's a little short.
Oh my god, I hope the towel one still works. I haven't tested it, but I'll try if it gets funded. Mafia 1 was great, says Florio. Oh, you're tiny. Alright. Either way, it's time to move on to the next game. That's not news I want to read. Close that.
Zero tags today, Holland.
That was about the Halo dudes. We already talked about that. This kind of ties into what I was talking about earlier, so we'll talk about this as well. As this ties into id Software. It's a little bit of news about it, but it's kind of speculation. So, 12 years after being delisted, Wolfenstein 2009 could be getting a surprise remaster at QuakeCon. 2026 fans speculate after sudden changes to the FPS's Steam page. It'll work on Steam Deck, apparently, according to this person who posted this article. It seems underrated. Wolfenstein game could be making a surprise return in the near future. Listing information on Steam's 2009's Wolfenstein indicates a remaster might be in the offing, right in time for this year's QuakeCon. Now, when was this article published? The 5th of August. Doesn't QuakeCon end tomorrow? Let me check. I think it's unlikely, to be honest. QuakeCon date. QuakeCon runs from August 6th to August 9th. Yeah, QuakeCon ends tomorrow on Sunday. So, tomorrow we'll find out if it gets announced or not. But apparently, the 2009 Wolfenstein, which is fun, it's not my favorite. I think Return to Castle Wolfenstein is probably the best Wolfenstein game, and probably always will be. But the 2009 Wolfenstein was pretty good. But it will be launching, or no, it won't be launching, sorry. They are changing the Steam background. My brain farted. Technically, by the way, as it stands right now, Wolfenstein 2009 is listed on abandonware sites. So it is still free to go and download it now. But if this game gets published on Steam, and if it does happen, you will not be able to download those abandonware site links because the abandonware sites will remove them once the game has re-entered the market. Ideally, in my opinion, abandonware sites should never exist because in an ideal world, you could acquire any game from any period ever. But because we don't live in an ideal world, abandonware sites are the only place where these things get preserved. So Wolfenstein is available still for the 2009 version, which is still fun. I think the 2009 game is better than the Wolfenstein 2 New Colossus. I think Wolfenstein, the reboot, whatever it was called, was okay. It's okay. It just wasn't amazing. But I think that has to do with the fact that the old Wolfensteins, like 2009 and Return to Castle Wolfenstein, operated on the sort of like occultish myths that the Nazi regime was sort of like believing at the time. And that occult like theme really helps with the game because it really makes it like cool and wacky. It's what keeps it from being just like, okay, they're just, Nazis. It's like fighting them in World War II, which is kind of what the reboot was like. It's like, oh, they're just Nazis and it's World War II. It's like, yeah, but that's not interesting. Like, the occult themes are what made Dune. Ugh, my brain. Wolfenstein interesting to me. Wolfenstein Enemy Territory multiplayer was great. Yeah, it's still available on Steam as far as I know. No, it's not F. We're still here. We're still here. We're not crashing. Chatfish.
Yeah, let me check. It's still fine.
Yeah, good. But yeah. So I figured I'd make that announcement about this. So in case you were concerned about that not being available on abandonware, yeah. So as soon as this launches, if it does, which we'll know, does this link to Steam here take me to the actual store page? No, it doesn't. But yeah, so basically what this means is essentially this is your last chance to get it on abandonware before if it relaunches. Today would be. Because if it relaunches, it'll disappear. But I don't think so. I feel like this should have been announced probably earlier, but maybe not. Maybe they want to do it as a closing statement to psych up people because they know they're going to be doing another Wolfenstein game in the near future. So maybe they're going to re-hype it up by re-releasing 2009. It should be on Steam. It's actually annoying it isn't, in my opinion. Wolfenstein became woke? Yeah, it did. That second game was fucking terrible. And that fucking 2-player co-op game was even worse. Oh, really bad.
It's looking bad.
It was fucking rancid. But yeah. So that's that for that. Excuse me. Move that. There. Okay, let's see. We covered this. We covered that. We covered that. There we go. Okay. So this is a potential article posted by Hazard Gammon, which for Tech for Gamers. EA could be potentially looking to sell BioWare and other intellectual properties following Saudi Arabia takeover. So this was posted on August 6th. As you know, the takeover, where did I put it? There we go. This article there. Forgot to put them next to each other. He has officially been sold, with Trump's son-in-law taking a stake and mass layoffs expected. So nobody knows for certain what's going to happen, but people are expecting mass layoffs in EA, and I wouldn't be surprised because I think EA is a bloated company that has tons of people who don't deserve merit, but I think there are tons of people there who do deserve uplifting. So we'll have to see what happens. My big hope is that the Command and Conquer community manager guy doesn't become a casualty in this, because he is the guy that kind of was responsible for organizing the remake, getting the remaster going, and he was also the guy responsible for basically getting the source code to the public for the other Command and Conquers in the Sage engine, which was a huge deal for the modding community. So, yeah, I just hope that he's not a casualty there. Other than that, fire at will. It's one of those cases of there's some good people that we know of only through their actions, but there's a lot of people there that probably aren't doing their jobs properly, to be honest. But yeah, so apparently, Trump gaming is now a thing. That's just funny to me.
It just looks so funny.
Yeah, but so we'll have to see what their intention to do with Bioware. Now, the big thing with like EA maybe selling out Bioware, think about it real quickly, chat. I don't know about the IPs, but from the view of the Saudis who acquired this, which I still think is a bad thing that they acquired this in the long run. I think it might be a good thing in the short run, though. The good thing about this is that this means that if they sell the IPs, it could end up in good hands. But when it comes to Bioware, them getting rid of Bioware isn't surprising. Like, look at what Bioware did recently. I know many of you are like thinking, like, oh, what about like their old RPG? No. What was the last thing they did? Dragon Age Veilguard. What did they do before that? Mass Effect Andromeda. Like, what did they do before that? They did fucking, what was that game called? Anthem. Like, that's 3 massive flops in the last decade. Do you think that studio is remotely salvageable in the slightest? No. I don't think so. I think it's pretty bad. I think it's basically dead. I think it's good as dead as a doorknob, basically. So I think we're gonna basically let that go to heaven and just move on with our lives. So I don't think anyone's gonna be remotely sad about that. In fact, selling BioWare, like I question if anybody will want to buy them, honestly. It's just, they're no longer the titan they once were. They are now kind of like a failed, decadent thing. Failware? Yeah, pretty much. The Saudis buying Bioware was a real system shock. You're really funny, Chatfish. I didn't really like Inquisition. Neither did I. But I know the reason why I didn't list that one next to Anthem is because I know some people that did like it. It's one of the more divisive ones. It came out in the time in which EA was releasing games where half people liked it, half people didn't. Wasn't quite a failure, but didn't feel good. Current Bioware has no talent left. Let it burn. Yeah, pretty much. Like there's nothing to salvage here, in my opinion. It's sort of like those layoffs that we were talking about. People are like, oh, but like you can't. What about their jobs? If you're just gonna hold the jobs of people hostage, then like what's gonna change the studio? Because they've been holding their jobs hostage for like decades. What has that done? Has that somehow made games better? No. Like holding jobs hostage hasn't done anything to improve the industry. So it's like at this point it's better to just let it fail, because guess what's going to happen? When that company fails, those people that did a good job at 343 or Halo Studios have connections. Not only do they have connections, but because they have connections, they also can easily find, because they're in the industry, in the inside, right? They can just move to another company. It's going to suck a little bit, but like it's not impossible. It's like finding a new job. It's not that hard because they already are in the industry to begin with. They already have their foot in the door. They already have experience. It's not like they're, some fresh college grad trying to get into the industry, which is like fucking bashing your forehead against a wall, you know? They're in the industry to begin with. They're fucking gonna be all right. More than likely. The big thing is shutting down these studios that are ineffective and starting to send a message to other executives that, hey, make sure you keep your studios cleaned up. Like, if you let them fill up with rot and all these woke retards, like, they're just going to get shitty games. And nobody wants to buy shitty games. I don't want my games to be political. I don't want my game to be like, propaganda for which political party to vote for. I just don't care. Like, my political opinions are my own. Just like your political opinion, Shan, is yours. I respect yours, as you should respect mine. But when it comes to video games, the fuck? Like, it's a video game. Nobody, shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up. Like, the video game can have some sort of, like, like, it can have some sort of quote-unquote message in its story or whatever. But, like, when it starts to preach, there's a way to be tactful about it. There's a way to be respectful to have, like, a story that has elements and stuff in it. And then there's preaching. And the issue is that we're not getting respectful stories. Like, you want to look at progressive media that was actually interesting and not terrible? Look at old Star Trek, right? It was progressive. But at the same time, it was in a way that was respectful to the viewer and treated them with respect. And didn't dictate how they should feel about it. It simply posed the question and allowed you to answer for yourself. That's how it should be done. Rather than, this is my opinion, and if you disagree with me, you're a Nazi. It's like, oh, Nazi. Like, that's not how you do that. That's not how you do that in the slightest. Just show the idea, show the conflict, show the idea, propose the idea, and let the viewer decide. Grumpy Rat says, in-universe politics are fine. Don't drag IRL politics into my escapism. Absolutely. That's why I think it's always important whenever you're writing a story or whatever in a game to basically write a story that is written from the perspective of the universe. If your game is a historical game and it's about historical things, about things that happened in the past, tell it with respect and context to that story, right? If I'm playing a historical game about antiquity characters from the Roman era, then I want my game to be accurate. If it's fantasy, it can be more loose with that, right? If it's got like dragons and shit. But like if it's like, okay, this is like, here's Marcus, here's Augustus, here's Octavian, and like here's like a fucking Titus Pullo, here's all my dudes, and like they all have like all these different things, and then like here's like a bunch of random black people. It's like, what? Okay, are they Numidians? It's like, no, the Romans. It's like, what? People didn't move that much back then, so you're gonna have to make it more believable. Just like if I go to Numidia, actually Numidia weren't black people either. Actually, they were technically like tan people. I forget what they're called. I forget their actual ethnic group. That's Nubians. I got the Numidians and the Nubians mixed up. Whoops. Nubians, the whole mean Nubian. What? Yeah, no, verbiage. Names, they have reasons. But it's like you go to Carthage, right? I shouldn't go to Carthage and see Japanese people. The Phoenicians aren't Japanese. It's fucking retarded. Just like when we tell a story about Greeks, I don't want to see Indians. Greeks weren't Indians. God fucking damn it. I don't know how hard this is. I want it to be authentic to the people of their era and where they're from. And if the story is in a certain place where there's other people there, then there should be people that look like the people as close as we have them today, right? Because, yeah, do the people exist? Do Phoenicians exist anymore? No. Phoenicians don't. Do Romans exist as like an ethnic group anymore? Like the Latin peoples of Rome? No, they don't. They don't exist anymore. We have close approximations, but they changed because people migrated and intermingled and created new groups and ethnic groups from that as they evolved and migrated. The people of those periods don't exist anymore. The Trojans don't exist anymore. They're gone. They're kaput. But we do have people that are close to that in that geographic location. Like the Greeks are as close as you're going to get. They're as close as you're going to get to that. What can you do, chat? But yeah, that's authenticity. That's how I feel about authenticity. If you're going to do something historical, and it's going to have the Allies fighting the Schnazis, that's fine. But make it historical. And be respectful to both sides. Because it's been a century, I know this might be mind-boggling, but the Schnazis lost. Crazy, I know. But yeah, they lost World War II. And also they're all dead now. They died. Like most people from the 1940s, like Schnazis, they're dead now. They died. They're gone. They're dinosaurs, chat. It's like people getting mad about the Confederacy from the Civil War. It's like, oh my God, the Confederates. It's like they're dead. Quit being a baby. Fucking grow up. This is the world we live in. Times change. Times change. They're gone. We can make a story that's mature and tells like the story from both perspectives and show them, both and like why they did what they did without being like, I don't need you to preach at me. I can know what's right and wrong. I know throwing babies out windows is bad. You don't have to be like, throwing babies out the window is, by the way, evil. No shit, really? No shit, really? Goddamn chat. The preachiness. It reminds me of the Halo campaign Evolved gameplay chat, where Cortana just tells you, Chief, be careful. There's invisible elites in this room. Remember to consult your motion tracker to see where they are. And she does that every time you run into invisible elites. It's like, yes, I know. It's bad that you're telling me because I'm not actually learning anything. You're telling me how to play, telling me how to feel, telling me how to think. And that is the problem with like Halo campaign Evolved. That's why it failed. Chief, oh my god. What he said. That's pretty profound, isn't it? That the Captain Keyes did that. He's so profound in how he sacrificed himself. Oh my god, profound. So yes, I know. I can see what he's doing. Chief, oh my god, Chief, look. Oh my god, flood. Oh, so sad. So sad. So sad. So yes. Yep. Thank you.
Don't worry, Keepers. I will make you play that
I
again.
feel like they're like treating me like a little puppy, It's like we're playing the game and like, oh my god, bad. That's bad. Look bad. It's like I know. Bad. They start spritzing you. And that's the reason why people just don't like that. Oh my god. They also rewrote established dialogue. Yes, they rewrote it because they're like, oh, the old dialogue, by the way, if you look at the dialogue for old Campaign Evolved, it implies and insinuates, but it asks the viewer to think about it. Which is cool. I like that. It's treating me as an intelligent player. Oh, blah, 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 blah. Yes, Mark III power armor. That's pretty weak or whatever. Should be, we're using this. Okay. So from that, I can determine that Guilty Spark is implying that I'm not equipped for this. These things are very terrifying, and that our most advanced armor is the lowest form of armor that the Forerunners had. So we can kind of see that we're in over our head. Now, granted, he didn't need to necessarily say that, but he does in the original game. And so it's like, from that, you can insinuate a lot of things, rather than, oh, by the way, you're wearing inferior armor, and also, the aliens you're fighting are super scary and super tough, and oh my god, you're gonna die, oh my god, it's over for you. It's like, okay, it's over for you. Also, here's some yellow paint. Follow that too. So, ooh. Yeah. It's terrible. But yeah, honestly, fuck Bioware. That's my opinion on that. And honestly, when it comes to EA, I think the best thing, because I don't think the Saudis can salvage it. We'll see what they do. We'll have to wait and see. But I think the best thing we can kind of hope for is that basically a lot of the intellectual properties get freed up. As in, a lot of IPs are sold off to justify the huge expense of buying it. And the ideal outcome is that the Saudis' acquisition of EA actually was a bad business move and that the entire thing has to liquidate. Because that would actually finally basically force them to liquidate EA to get their money back, which would force them to sell off all the IPs, which would then free up those intellectual properties once more. It would give SimCity a chance, it would give Spore a chance, it would give Black and White a chance. It would give so many games, Medal of Honor, like a chance at fresh life. That doesn't guarantee that they're going to do well, but it would mean that other studios could pick up those IPs, grab them, and start making games with them. It'd free Command and Conquer, it'd free Dead Space. Yeah, it would free up.
A new Spore would be interesting.
A new Spore would be interesting. And with EA dying and the Saudis losing it, unless the Saudis actually intend to do something with it. My big thing is I don't know if they're actually going to do anything. We'll have to wait and see. But like, is that people who make Dead Space and like making Dead Space can get together, do a Kickstarter, get the money, acquire the IP again, and reboot Dead Space again. And get a second chance at life. Doesn't guarantee success, but it does mean that this time around they'll have a fresh, clean slate. Because EA won't be there to shut them down. It does mean, however, that they won't have that financial support to lean on. So they're going to have to carry themselves by their own, petard, so to speak. Petard. Petard, as Beano would call it. Partizan donates 130 Donkey Kongs and says current day politics have no place in video games about having fun or is historical. Should be enough for a pocket fish with a 33 DKK from yesterday. Defender Midway, fit. Cooking with Kibbs, very generous. And thank you for supporting Defender. As a reminder, chat,
Yes.
once Defender is done, I will switch my Kibbs choice to help F. Pressit. F. Pressit has called for aid for a fund, an art fund he has started
Oops.
for Doman and him, of him beating the crap out of all of us in last night's Age of Empires game. I will be helping with that fund once Defender is finished. But yes, a commemorative art piece. I believe he wants it done by Ben Dio.
Yeah. Yeah, germanic was not for me, yeah.
As I suspected. Next up, Microsoft says it's working to make Windows 11 run better on PC with 8 gigabytes of RAM. Some of the biggest improvements include lower RAM usage, so Windows uses less memory, faster and smoother. Sorry, I know why this is happening. It's just so funny to me. Faster and smoother performance with opening apps and switching between tasks. Better optimization for core Windows features. Improvement to the Windows setup process. The minimum system requirements is 4 gigabytes of RAM. But Microsoft hopes these optimizations will make 8 gigabytes feel much more responsive. The reason why this is the case is entirely because AI data centers. Oh, so there is some good things from AI data centers for a change, and this is the first bit of good news we have instead of the bad stuff. The good news is it's going to force companies to optimize their shit finally. Yay! The bad news, it came at the cost of everybody else. That's good. I fucking hate this. I mean, this is good because, like, oh my god, Windows 11 is going to run better finally. Yay! It's not going to consume so much of my resources. Selling my data like it always does. Woohoo! It's going to be a little less rapey on my software or hardware. Improvement to the setup process. If only they'd stop trying to prevent creating local account and stop trying to force Microsoft accounts. Yep, because the idea of that is insane. I remember the age of local accounts. You used to have them in school PCs. I remember that during the schoolroom. You'd have your own school like login information to log into your computers and stuff. And that your own Windows computer like would have like your own different account. Like there'd be the Kyle account, and then there'd be the, other account that had administrative privileges that Kib didn't have access to, because his dad had access to it. Except Kib. Except Kib. I remember. Windows XP and 98 SE were easy on resources. They were. Because they didn't have a bunch of AI crap like slapped on top as well, so they ran better. This is again why when you force AI into everything, it hurts everyone. Because when you force it on everybody, it consumes more resources. And now that the fucking AI data centers are becoming a nightmarish problem for RAMs across the board, and companies are not producing for individuals anymore, they're only producing for major companies, and they're intentionally doing this to jack up prices to astronomical rates, and they're getting away with it. The entire reason why this is all happening, it's just because of this bullshit. Like they should have had to optimize to begin with, but like this is still bad, sadly. So yeah, rip that. We can only hope that the bubble pops and that chatfishes become free and that RAM falls from the heavens. But until that day happens, we're cooked. Windows 7 version of Aero was easy on the eyes. I don't remember Windows 7 that much. I remember Windows Vista, only from scarring memories of its launch. But honestly, after they fixed it, it actually ran pretty well. Like, post Windows Vista launch wasn't terrible. It had so much negative stigma around it, it was cooked. The launch was terrible. And then they launched into Windows 7, and that was okay. I think it was Windows 7, right? And then they did Windows 8.
Okay.
And Windows 8 was fucking horrific. They're like, what if we made everything a tablet? I was like, oh.
It took some time for 7 to be good.
It always does. And by the time they finally figure it out, then they move on to the next thing that we can get charged for. Good luck at work, Sniper Commando. But yes, the Halo layoffs. Next up we have is we're going to talk about a couple things. Just pausing this in advance. Getting these open. So, I know, chat. I lied at the beginning of the stream. I said there's positive stuff to talk about. But then I forgot how much that rabbit hole was, and that was negative. But now, this time, I promise, is going to be positive. Jeff is just looking at me, a little black eye, like, ooh. So, Gears E-Day. What do you mean I'm not permitted to look at this time? Get back here. Sorry, but you're not permitted to view these individuals? What? Huh? What am I, 2 to you? I don't know, I was born in 1900. There, you happy?
Oh, it's a bug because you left it open for a while. I just need to search the game again.
Oh, okay. I've never seen that bug before.
It happens when you leave the game open for a while.
That's why I try to open these beforehand. So, Gears of War E-Day. Now, the Coalition has not had the best track record, have they? They've not at all. Gears 4 was kind of terrible. Gears 5 was actually really terrible. And that's their track record. Gears E-Day, rumors are around it that it's been canceled. God willing, right? But Gears E-Day. Now, we've only played the multiplayer beta. So, the campaign, I can't say anything about. I don't know. But I will say that I'm not particularly optimistic about the campaign because the focus on that female character that's just like randomly there. Like, I know this may sound weird, but like, she has resting bitch face. So she's already on my shit list at the moment because I have very low confidence that she's going to be tolerable. And this guy over here looks about as corporately safe as humanly possible. Save for Marcus and Dom being the only two characters that I have any sort of attachment to at all. So, with that, understand, if they try to pull this, like, oh, this woman character is, like, better than Marcus and Dom are mean and misogynist crap, like they did with fucking Halo with Chief and that fucking chick and that fucking whatever thing, like, I'm gonna be annoyed. I'm gonna be very annoyed. If she's just like, hey, I'm just part of the team and I went through some tough stuff, but, like, I'm part of the team, let's work together, and that's the story, okay, fine. But if she tries to girl boss at me, I'm gonna fucking lose my shit. Oh, Mrs. Doman, yeah, pretty much. I'm just skeptical because after playing the Halo thing, I've got Halo shock, is what I'm calling it now. I've got campaign evolve shock. My campaign has been thoroughly evolved, and I don't like it. So long as she's just a character that isn't like a complete bitch, it'll be fine. But I swear to God, compare this bitch to Anya, and the kick-ass redhead from 3. Yeah, it's one of those cases of, like, you're right. Yeah, and you're absolutely right. Well, not just Anya, there's that other chick, too, with the raven hair. I can't remember her name. But yeah, she's played by Claudia Black, I think. But when it comes to this character, like, she's just not a good character design. She's boring. She has an awful fucking haircut, and she just looks bad. And the guy to the right looks like corporate wanted you to play it safe. Or the right, sorry. He just does look boring.
To improve him, just give him a helmet.
Yeah, just give him a helmet. Make him Carmine 2.0. Or 4.0, whatever you want to call him. But I will say that the gameplay for the multiplayer beta was surprisingly good. The new Horde mode, which is technically what it's called, it's all mode, it has a siege mode that's really good, a blitz mode that's really good, and this big open world, and it's pretty damn good with like this open sort of like, it's sort of Helldivers inspired, but and it's unlike Helldivers, you've got multiple squads running in the same environment, and these squads can actually end up helping each other. And it's really cool. And it's sort of like this constant battlefield where squads come in, squads leave, do their missions, and leave. And so that's how it's kind of done. Server infrastructure means it's probably a constantly running server where people come in, leave in the instance. It's really good with like these cool world bosses, and the combat mechanics are tight and feels good, and the movement feels really nice here. The best, in my opinion, it's ever been. Now I know there's some people that don't like the way the sprinting is done in this because they prefer the ass cam of the OGs, and I think that's a totally valid criticism. But I also think that that was because of the more restricted movement and environments of the OG. That's why that was that way. Because if you look at the level design of the OGs, they're much smaller. Now I'll have to see if that echoes into the campaign or not. But from that, going off of that, I'm pretty much of the opinion that I think it's better because you have a wider field of view. What if she's the first unhelmeted Carmine and dies? Is she a Carmine? Oh my god. I don't think she is. No, she has a real name. They already have her name and bio in the game, I think, and you can read all the bios of the other characters. She is like the lone survivor of some squad, which is where the red flags come in for me. I'm the lone survivor of my
Yeah,
squad, and
it's
everyone
kind of
around me
suspicious.
died.
It's
Mm.
she also have a unique skin that you can unlock on the beta.
And her helmet's like torn. And I'm hoping they're not going
Yeah.
for the girl boss thing, like, oh, I'm tougher than all of you because I'm the only survivor and I'm truly tough. And
It she kinda give that vibe, yeah.
she's got that look, and I'm just saying, you know, it looks that way. Just be advised. I think the campaign might be kind of hogwash, but I will say that the multiplayer modes are pretty good. Now, what I will say was not particularly good is the game is $70. Awful pricing, and this,
Yes.
fuck this, fuck this, like into oblivion, please. Like this whole $100 fucking premium edition shit for, oh fuck, it's just absolutely terrible.
It's really bad.
It is. It's coming out in like a couple months, but it's one of those cases of like the early access stuff for paying for premium edition shit needs to stop. And I'm going to continue to be vocally against this for until the end of time. No streamer tax, no streamer early access. Just make it a general access, same day everyone gets access. I don't like it. I don't like it because I have to buy it. Because if I don't, I fuck myself over. And I also just don't like early access stuff like that. Period. No streamer early access. Just don't do
Yeah.
it. Just everybody gets access on the same day, please.
Yeah.
Just make it normal.
I like how people from the Cherry Studio that make a Silk Song made. No one had early access to the game. Everyone bought on the same day.
Yeah, that's the way it should be.
Yeah, it was crazy. Everyone was talking about. Everyone was playing at the same time. It was super fun.
I want
No
games
one
to be
had
like,
spoilers.
yeah, no spoilers. Everyone gets access the same day. No more early access. No more exclusive streamer access. Just everybody gets it the same day. That's a trend we need to go back to. Because whenever somebody gets early access to it, it's either because they paid, like I have to do, or they are a special kind of bootlicker that gets access because they lick the boot just right. And I don't want to lick the leather. I'm not doing that. That's weird. So we're not going to engage in that crap. Ugh, fuck, it's just cancer. It's really agitating. But from the game we played thus far, and from everyone's assessment who watched it, and from the people who played it, everybody had nothing but nice things to say about the gameplay. It was a lot of fun. So I was genuinely surprised. Remember, says, I miss midnight releases where you'd camp out in front of your local game store or GameStop. I remember that too. I never actually had to do that because of school, but I remember my fucking dad did that for me. My fucking dad is awesome for that. And my mom did it too. My mom did it. She got me a Wii. She camped out all fucking night to get me that. And I remember being so grateful for her when she did that. That was insane. Like, oh my god, that was so cool of her to do that. And my dad did the exact same thing when Battlefront 2 not EA, Pandemic came out. Oh my god. I was like, you're the best. You're the best papa ever. Because when I when I went to school the next day, I remember all the other kids going like, God damn it, like, we didn't get the game. And I'm like, I have it. I have that game. I get to play it when I go home. And I fucking bragged like the piece of shit I was as a child about it for a week until they restocked copies in the store. And kids hated me for it. Same goes for the Wii. God damn. So yeah. Super cool of my parents to do that. If you're watching, Dad, Ma, I appreciate it. Always will. But I've never actually been to one of those camp out thingies. Only my parents have. I always had to work and study and do school stuff. I didn't get to do any fun late night things. Always sleepy time. Betty by time by 8 or 10, depending on which house it was. Uh, I remember going to midnight release for WoW expansion with my brother. One of the store's attendants recognized us and made sure we got one of the limited special editions. Each good memory. Nice, that's cool. The only time I remember like something special with game was Wrath of the Lich King. My dad and I going to the store to go pick it up. Wrath of the Lich King was announced and launched. It looked pretty good. There's also that memory of my dad and I going through PC Gamer at Barnes and Noble while eating cookies and stuff. And I remember we got to the page where it was Dawn of War. It had this full illustration on 2 pages. And my dad just like grabs the magazine. He's like, "Oh, fuck, that looks cool." He didn't say fuck though. But he was like, "Oh, that looks friggin' cool," because he always says friggin'. He tried to censor himself as best he could. He was really bad at it, by the way, because I learned so many swear words and got in trouble so often in school because he always swear when we're on job sites. But he tried to censor himself. But yeah, so like that was one because we went to the store and we got Dawn of War, and that was super exciting. Yeah, I remember that. Now there's like never any go get things from the store culture because all games come out on Steam, and like physical releases aren't even like a thing that PC games even really have anymore. Despite the fact that I would actually rather get them. I like if I could have it my way, and I know it's never going to be this way. I wish that you bought a game and the game came with a case, it came with a disc, it came with a manual, and it came with a key, and the key could be activated on Steam because they did that for a while, by the way. We had a Steam key that came with it, and then so you could have a digital copy and you could have a physical copy, all in one. But then they stopped doing that. Now barely any games get
You only gonna have
boxes.
a code.
And not only do barely any games get boxes now, but when they do get boxes, it's like a fucking little pamphlet inside. Like, I can't remember the last time I was at a Best Buy or anything, because Media Play went out of business ages ago and the housing market collapsed, along with Circuit City. Best Buy was like the only place left that I remember where we went to get games from. That or GameStop. But GameStop was called Scam Stop for a reason. So, it was mostly Best Buy, which we nicknamed Worst Buy because it had the worst deals. Oh my god. But I remember like the gaming sections for the PC games. I remember like the console games, and now I can't imagine what it looks like. I don't ever want to visit a Best Buy because I don't want to know what it looks like in there. My memory is like in this carbon like thing of like there being like, oh, this is the PC gaming section. This is like this, and it had all this cool stuff and these aisles filled with games. I don't want to see what it looks like now because I know it doesn't look like that anymore. I know it's just this empty, decadent aisle that has nothing in it. Steam destroyed it all? Yeah. Well, I like Valve, and I think Valve's done a great job, and Steam has done a good job for the users and has fought for the user many times. Valve has done bad things. Valve helped spearhead what was inevitable, by the way, because it was going to happen. It's just, I really wish we could bring back physical media, because there is something special. When Grumpy mentions that midnight launch stuff, even though I didn't get to participate in that, physical stores had something that digital stores can't provide. Like, there's so much quality of life things. Like, you can look at discussions here, and I can look at reviews, and I can instantly learn about a game. More information from looking at Steam than I ever could in a physical store. And a physical store can't compete with that. But there's something special about going into a store, seeing a box, and seeing it's got little cardboard flap, and then opening the little cardboard flap to look at the pictures and read the descriptions. And then look at the back, read about the game's like other things, and then read its requirements at the bottom. There's something profoundly special about that experience that new gamers are never going to get. And I want younger generations to be able to experience that in some way. But I don't know how. Like, I don't know how we
Yeah,
could possibly bring that back.
it was because you owned that thing you bought.
Yeah, because you own that box. And
Yeah.
like, you owned what was inside of it. You had, like, I remember, and especially for a little kid, like, the drive home, right? Like, you'd open the box up, you delicately try to not scratch it so you don't but remove this tape. Then you'd eagerly open it, you'd pull out the little manual, and then you'd flip through the pages reading about the game before you even played the game. So there was like several layers of hype before you even got to play it. There was the hype of talking about it, hearing about it from the magazine, getting excited for it, then going to the store to pick it up, and then getting it. Then it was the hype on the way home, driving home, reading through the manual, or like if it was a PC game, putting in the disc, like disc one of disc four, to install all the discs so that you can install the game completely. Because it had several discs, or God forbid it was like a 6-disc game or some shit. But like then you had to put in each disc and like install, and then the installers would have like this menu screen that would have music playing, and sometimes they'd have full narrated like video with it. Command and Conquer has this, by the way. Sort of StarCraft, where you install it and it has this installer and it starts telling you about the universe and the game. So not only have you read the manual while getting excited for it and looked at all the pictures and then the different mechanics and things it talks about and how the game works, you've also got this fucking goddamn thing psyching you up that's like loading the game slowly, mind you, slowly. Like this thing's gonna take like 40 to 30 goddamn minutes, and like it's talking to you and like playing music and like the ancient empire of Derp is and it's like, oh my god, I'm so bubba right now, I cannot hold it in. And then it finally boots up and you get this fucking goddamn really cool CGI cinematic intro. Then you get this fucking insane main menu that's like got this cool fucking artwork or characters or like animations in the background. And then like it's like, oh my god, we're here. We've finally arrived here. It took a month for this to happen, or months, depending on if you like read about it in like a magazine beforehand. So it gets psyched up. Otherwise, if you hadn't found it in a magazine beforehand, you only really found out if you had good internet, and I rarely did. So gttrailers.com, gametrailers.com, rare to get that working. That website sucked ass. Was rare. More often than not, it was the magazines that we had subscriptions to, and then it was the build up, that time, and then like the agonizing anticipation of playing it, and then you played it, and it was amazing. And even if the game was kind of okayish, it was amazing because all the hype around it. Now, what was really sucky was when the game sucked. That happened. And those are the memories you don't remember. The waiting for it to install, playing it and going like, this is kind of bad. I don't like this. Or, this is kind of mid. That sucked massively. Because all that wind up time only to find out that it was kind of mid or kind of ass was like, oh my god. It's like, all right, you can pick one game from the store. It's like, oh yeah. And you pick the game and it sucks. And like, fuck.
Yeah.
I'm going to have to wait another couple weeks till I can do it again. Until I can or a month, depending. Oh.
Raper have a donation.
Jumpa donates $5 and says Aliens Fireteam Elite 2 has a new co-op showcase video and class showcase videos. Well, that's good because I'm going to be covering that on stream. Thank you for the donation. But yeah, they're finally making a 4-player co-op. Yeah, I know. It looks really good. But yeah, so Gears E-Day, the multiplayer's looking good, boys. It looks really fun. But
it feels good.
Don't get too excited for the campaign. I'm just trying to level your expectations because I don't have a lot of confidence in the campaign. Especially after playing Campaign Evolved, my expectations are at rock bottom. I just want to make sure that my champfish aren't super sad. So just expect it to be, me.
I don't think it's gonna be really, really bad, but it's probably gonna be mid.
Yeah, that's my feeling. I want it to be good, but I feel like my wish is too far away.
But even if they fumble the campaign, the multiplayer it's really, really nice to play.
Yeah, they didn't fuck up the multiplayer this time. Unlike Gears 5 where it felt kind of weightless. It actually feels very meaty.
I had 100 hours on Gears 3, and the beta feels like an improvement from that.
Oh yeah, I think E-Day we can probably sink well over 100 hours into it. Like after spending about 8 hours in the beta, almost 9 hours, and we're going to be streaming it again today, like I'm pretty confident we can easily sink 100 hours. Now, 100 hours for $70 still doesn't feel good. Like nothing feels good for $70. $70 feels eye gouging, but it's made worse when you do that. Really bad feelings. But yeah, so next up we have is a game called Star Wars Zero Company, being developed by Bit Reactor and published by Electronic Arts. This is a game set during the Clone Wars of Star Wars, and it's basically kind of like an XCOM game. Now, as you know, my opinion on modern Star Wars stuff is I usually don't give a damn about the cinematic universe because Disney just does a terrible job with it. But I give video games a chance because sometimes there can actually be some good games here and there. And so, Chatfishes, we started a fund for Zero Company thumbnail. You can get on to 25 for 50 for a bucket. 25 for a pocket, 50 for a bucket. I'm having a hard time today. I need more water. Holy crap. But yeah, it looks okay. It doesn't look like it's amazing, but it very much looks like XCOM. I'll let the trailer, as I skip it, I'll let the trailer speak for itself. I will say that I'm much more happy with the pricing here than I am for eBay. $50 is better. I would have preferred 40, but 50 I'm not going to complain. And kudos where it's due. There is no early access to the versions, so you don't have to buy the shitty fucking deluxe thing for some stupid skins. Thank God. I always find that really agitating when it's kind of tacked on there, like 5-day early access. Oh, I'll kill myself. All right, let's take a look. I like how in that it already felt very XCOM.
Intelligence was just briefed on reports of a separatist fleet massing in the Serralona system.
Then we need to make our move.
You got someone?
Zero Company.
You still got it, old man. What do you got for me, Panic?
Word Silius. Coil's been spotted meeting with local gangsters. Get down there, find out what they're up to. But please, do it quietly.
Griff.
Shots in contact.
My team's got a contract to put an end to Fathom's plans.
I've been tracking Fathom for months. She's at the center of it all.
All right, let's get a team together.
I want in.
I'm not in it for the credits. There we go!
He was a good operator. He knew the risks.
He's dead though.
The circle must be closed.
We work with all kinds of folks. Ex-separatists, ex-noble, ex-cons. And we're better for it. We're almost there. We just gotta finish this job.
General Skywalker.
Now, for this, it actually doesn't look too terrible. Now, what is bit reactors? What do we know about them? Let me just look them up real quick, because if they're making an XCOM, like, it's good to know what their history is. They develop strategy games, so they do have experience in the field, but what is their little itinerary? What have you done, you little munchkins? I don't think they've done anything. Wait, they're not a new company, are they? Oh. Independent game studio blending art, technology, and our passion for video games. Blah, 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 blah. A bunch of corporate speech. Well, collectively. They do have experience with XCOM. Okay. We collectively developed some of the most successful games you've ever heard of, such as XCOM, Civilization, Gears of War. So Gears of War Tactics, if I had to guess, and they've also worked on Elder Scrolls Online. Okay. It's just like, what? Just randomly. It's like, yeah, we do strategy games. Also, Elder Scrolls Online. All right, so Gears Tactics. That's my theory. Gears Tactics was actually not bad. Not terrible. Okay, so they worked as a support studio because they didn't receive the major accreditation. Major accreditation went towards splash damage and the Coalition, but they aren't listed, so they were a support studio. So, from the sounds of this, this is BitReactor's big foray into their own video game. So they're not necessarily a new studio, but they built up reputation, and this is their move. So this might actually be good, because this is new blood, basically finally rising to the top. So what's interesting when you see companies like this, chat, is they're a little guy, they're working in the background, making little things, but they haven't gotten their chance at their first big project. This is their first big project. Unless I missed something when I looked at those things, this is going to be their first foray into actually making their own game. As it doesn't look like they're listed with any support studios that I could see. And it says here that it's just them. So this could be relatively interesting. It looks like they're taking heavy inspiration from their previous work with the XCOM guys. So using that knowledge base isn't a terrible idea. And the fact that they do have a studio history with that, now, we'll have to see. But I would say it's worth giving it an open mind. I know some chatfishers seem to not particularly like the look of it. Really? I didn't think it looked that bad. I also think it didn't seem to take too many risks. It looked kind of like they were playing a little safe with the characters. But it didn't feel like they were doing anything egregious. Like, I didn't see a heinously boss girl character. At least not from the trailer. At least she hasn't acted that way. You got, oh fuck, I forget what these guys are called. That's definitely a chick, though. You can tell by the fact that the voice was very feminine.
And it seems the game has some level of customization. I hope
Yes.
you can customize the character as well.
So, from what I can tell thus far, is you have hero characters, and those hero characters will be like sort of like XCOM, where you get like hero dudes, and then you'll be able to customize the other characters, and there's different things like you can Astromechs and other dudes. I hope
Yeah, the
they
more generic ones.
expand that a bit more. Like, I would love if you could actually capture battle droids and repurpose them for you. Like, you could capture B2s and repurpose them. That'd be super cool. And from here, we can actually dictate quite a bit. So yeah, this is like the XCOM map here, but this is a form of a galactic map with different little planets. Hollow Table is what it's called. Screenshot, 17,000 credits. Some other 250 out of 250 something. Some other thing I don't know a symbol of. And something that looks like a person with like a radio above their head. Or like a signal or something. And then a level. Operations, influence, and missions. Destroy coil upgrade. Plus den into den level. 100 den for level. So that's like that's your base. So they have the XCOM sort of like base thing, I assume. And then intel, which is for like finding out other missions or like where certain bosses are. Because that's how XCOM kind of worked. Now, what I like here already is this tells us a lot about how Overwatch works. This is awesome.
Yes.
This is not the really cancerous Overwatch that's just everywhere. Now, I don't see this for the enemies yet. But if they learned anything, because working on Gears Tactics also had this system where they have a lot of enemies and you fight outnumbered a lot of the time. I'm assuming that it's going to be similar to Gears Tactics crossed with XCOM, which Gears Tactics was kind of like based on XCOM a little bit. Tactics went under the idea that you were always outnumbered by a lot of enemies. So the enemies all took their turn simultaneously, but when they ran into your lines of fire, like Crossfire or like your Overwatch things, they would get absolutely mauled. So this could be really cool.
Yeah, that thumbnail is almost funded. Let me see. Yep, the thumbnail is 77 from being funded already.
Now the real question is, Indio, is that 75% there real or is that fake? That's is it actually 65%?
I hope it is real.
Actually, Because you know how XCOM was, where it says 65%,
Yeah.
but it actually was 20. It actually was because it had a weighted system. I don't like weighted systems.
What is excuse me? Each work is different.
What's this?
Yeah.
This is like all the skills he has. So that's an astromech in his party. You can see he's got a little clone dude. He's got the astromech, and he's got that main character guy that has the gray on the side of his hair, and then the Mandalorian. And I'm assuming that's different skills. Like this button's highlighted. So impact bomb. Target area, throw a powerful grenade that deals excellent damage. 2 per combat. AoE 3.0 meters. So that it's radius. And then it does 8 damage. It costs 1 action point to use. And it's considered a fast action. So the game is going to be running on an AP system.
I like it is a little more than being on the bottom.
Oh, you like the radial system around the characters?
Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah, I know. A lot of people, like, I've talked about user interface stuff a lot, and a lot of people seem to like the radial interface for characters appearing up there instead of the action bar.
I find it better than being on the bottom.
I know. We had a debate, by the way, in our dev team about this a long time ago. And it's one of those issues we're going to have to tackle again when we get to the user interface art. But I was of the opinion that I always have been soft for action bars, but a lot of people actually don't like action bars. So we'll have to see what happens. Kid might actually lose that battle, and it might become something different. Kid become defeated again. This is a dangerous thing, chat.
I like it. I like it because when it's like this, it can be more custom. You can customize more.
True. I can already see of artistic ways I would want that interpreted, but that's neither here nor there. Let's keep focused on this game. I'm gonna get distracted on a subject of like conceptual user interface design, and chaps are just gonna glaze over their eyes like, ooh. 99% accuracy misses a lot. So when I looked at this and I've been reading about it so far, it looks pretty interesting and it looks fun. And I know some people would prefer the Galactic Civil War, but I grew up with the prequels as coming out, and I know it's gonna be an unpopular opinion, but like, and my dad fucking was always annoyed by this, but like I was like, as a kid, I love Phantom Menace. I see its problems and certain things I don't like, but like Attack of the Clones also has pacing problems with the ass, but I watched it like a billion times. And I made my dad take me to the movie theater for Revenge of the Sith like I think 6 times. And he he hated Anakin. Like he was like, "Oh my god, he's such a whiny fucking bitch." And I'm like, "I think he's so cool. I think he's so cool."
Every time he was like, "Dad, I love Star Wars." "Ah, good son. Which ones?" I like the prequels." Like you just hear this slap across the room, you know. You don't speak that in front of me again, boy.
He was much more into the old trilogy than he wasn't big on the new one. But yeah, as a kid, I grew up with this. So, like for me, I loved the Galactic Civil War, but the Clone Wars was. There's something about the Clone Wars that speaks volumes, and I think it's just I really like the droids. The droids and the clones in general just really sell me. They're just beautiful. Excuse me.
I was going to take a nap and sleep until tomorrow, and then realized, wait a sec, I need to work then. Because I didn't finish this yesterday. How are you guys doing, my dudes?
We're doing good. How are you doing, Fatty?
Nice. I'm doing good. I have good news. My issues, I got confirmation today that they are 100% on the muscles. Because I was feeling great, and then like I touched a sore muscle in my face, and the face started contorting again. I was like, I see, but it's getting better each day. And after I get the ears cleaned, I will also hear better. So like, yeah, things are only getting better from now, which is good. I was going to cook, but I'm lazy, so I'm going to order a delicious chicken heart sandwich, and I will cook tomorrow.
But yeah.
I hope you guys are doing.
So, back to the game. No more Beano. I think it looks promising. Like I think it'll be like a fun XCOM like, and considering like Xenonauts 2 was fun, I like Xenonauts 2. I did not like the last levels. I think those were terrible. And I always think the end game for those XCOM style games is always like they always fuck up like how the end game should work in my opinion. Like it should be like an amalgamation of like I'm powerful, I've become powerful, and now I'm taking the fight to the enemy. And it always feels like the enemy has bullshit and I'm still fucking weak as shit. And it always feels that way. I never feel like I truly got ahead. I always feel like I'm just 3 fries short of a Happy Meal, you know?
I don't
It
remember
it
the
almost
end of
feels like you know those RPGs where the level is scaled, where like I have one more level, but all the enemies they're still as hard as before. It's like,
The enemies are not, yeah, they scale with you. And so while that sounds nice, like, oh, to keep the challenge up, it also keeps the challenge at the same level.
I
And so
like
it's a
that.
double-edged sword. I think there's a better way to handle it, but it's one of those things like it's neither side is necessarily right. Both have advantages to it. Savant says I started with the Vietnam that was Long War for XCOM 1. God dang, everything seemed easy-ish afterwards. He just became hardened, a tough chatfishy. Redacted says should be easy to mod as well. One of the things I love about new XCOM games is how they are to mod. By the end of the campaign, my team really could look like seasoned warfighters. I loved it. Yeah, I'm just hoping that this one is good too, because I'm looking for more turn-based tactics games, and this is on my list of interests. I thought I could install it already. I was like, what? It's not even out yet.
you know what's kind of funny?
What?
There are some games that I really like the idea, right? But they fuck up. Is this the one that did Xenonauts, right?
No, this is a new studio. This is by BitReactor. BitReactor has supported other companies with Gears Tactics. They worked on Elder Scrolls Online a little bit with support work. They also worked on XCOM and Sid Meier's Civilization. And they've now basically grown their team enough. From reading what I read on their bio and like what their bio was, it sounds like this is the studio's first game. Like their own game, as in like not the first game they've worked on, but this is their game.
I see.
So this is gonna tell us a lot about BitReactor, who they are as a team. And if this turns out good, this means that BitReactor has matured into a nice little developer and will start producing new video games rather than just being a support team, which for them is actually a huge step. The only thing that's scary for them is that they're underneath Electronic Arts.
You know, it's kind of I have some news, but like it's not a news article, but it's news about like
Now hold on.
that.
I want to keep it on subject. So this does have a lot of pre-order stuff though. Like with it, it's all cosmetics with the deluxe edition. So it's
Look at all those aliens.
yeah, you can kill them. Oh, disgusting! Is that a Nemoidian? Oh, beautiful.
As long as it is on cosmetic, I don't really care.
3 alien races.
I always get Nemoidians and Duros mixed up, but Nemoidians are green, if I'm right, and Duros are black. Or no, blue.
Also, chat.
I'm sorry, I looked at that person. Bino has made me raise a chance over.
Remember,
I see the aliens there.
Raper is gonna be a Ewok on this thumbnail. You can join and shoot him.
Damn.
That's true.
Yeah.
But yeah, the cosmetic, it's only cosmetics, so I'm fine with that. I'm not a super big fan because, like, I'll be real. The one thing that kind of annoys me is that the cosmetics don't really have anything that really interests me, like gun colors, like meh. Like face tattoos, I could live without because it's just tattoos. The Pike Syndicate helmets, I always thought they looked stupid, so I don't care. The thing that kind of annoys me is the 100th Clone Company armor and the fact that the ARC Trooper armor is there. That annoys me because that armor is actually really cool. And if you can only get ARC Trooper armor, if you have that, it's so sad.
Okay, for a second there, I thought they were selling like as a pre-order the ability to be black. I was like, wait, it's like
no. So the you can have alien races. The Nemoidian isn't a paid exclusive. Just like the Asians aren't
Wow.
paid exclusives.
Yeah, I was like, what the hell? Like, I want to be an Asian character. Pay me, pay extra. It's like, okay then.
But you'll be able to customize your characters the way you choose, which is good. So I can make my squad the ideal Chatfish squad. That's what I'm actually excited for. I just can't wait to lead my chat into the deaths, just like I did with XCOM, just like I'll do again.
Same.
This is why I didn't like Chimera Squad. Chimera Squad, you couldn't make custom characters. Kind of a big deal breaker.
That was sad.
Part of what makes the XCOM style games good is you naming custom characters and stuff like that.
You know
Yes.
the worst part? If you could have made custom alien characters in that one, people would have been like, yes, yes, because a lot of people modded that on the
Yes.
So, other XCOM.
Real quick though, what they need to do with their first expansion, right, is they need to add Naboo and they need to add recruitable Gungans. I need my little Gungan screaming, "We's gonna die," every time a fucking grenade gets thrown at me. Every time Misa gonna die. That was my favorite thing about Battlefront. So they need to add them, then they need to add Ewoks, and then we'll have the complete cursed collection, right? We've got
Gungan
all the
characters.
races we just want to gun down.
I would rather have Gungans than Ewoks. I hate
Prawn
Ewoks.
McPepper is like, OMG, no. OMG.
I goddamn hate Ewoks.
It was
Like,
big- it
Ewoks
was
were
big,
the
right?
worst thing that came out of Star Wars.
Chapfish
Not
say,
ironically.
lol, yes, Misa like this. Come
Oh
on.
god.
A Gungan expansion where we can fight with the Gungans against the Separatists. That'd
They
be
have
so
a-
funny.
They have a secret boss fight that's Darth Jar Jar. He was the true mastermind all
Oh,
along.
if people get to mod this, you can bet they're gonna make a Seed Jar Jar.
I want...
They're
I-
just gonna replace some Seed.
It replaces your female Jedi character that you get with a fucking Jar
Yep.
Jar. My god. I wonder if we will get to play as the droids as well. So it's set from a Republic perspective, but you're like a special company that's basically dealing with a threat that's happening during the end of the Clone Wars. This is set during the twilight of the Clone Wars. What I would really, really, really hope they do is something interesting and a little bit risk-taking. They'll never do this. Because if I had anything, I bet Reactor wants to play it safe, and Electronic Arts might be squishing them a little bit to not take any risks. But what would be so cool is if this game ends with Order 66 coming down, and you can choose whether to side with the Empire, the new Empire that's rising, or like betray and join the remnant Separatist holdouts and stuff like that.
I
I
hate
would
to
love
spoil-
that as like a twist thing where you could choose.
I hate to spoil it to you, but like
They won't.
I'm pretty sure
And
they
you're not
won't.
spoiling it. It would be just such a cool thing because imagine the replay value, right? You play the Clone Wars, you play as the Zero Company, and then you get to Order 66, and then you get to choose to defect to the Separatist holdouts who are losing, or stay with the Empire, and like start crushing rebels and stuff. That would be fucking awesome. Zero Company becomes like a imperial like group that's like one of the most feared like companies with dealing with like special rebellious like rebel holdouts and separatist holdouts, and it takes place between A New Hope and Revenge of the Sith. Would be so cool. Would be the coolest goddamn thing. I'd be so happy.
Basically, like Zero Company is very interesting. For some reason, you have a 100% kill rate on Twi'leks. Even
See-
the ones that are not the targets of the missions.
I know, Chad. I know many of you side with the Empire, but the reason why I think it should be like a choice thing with the Order 66 thing, if they were to do it, this is entirely hypothetical, would be just imagine that, right? Because if you switch to the Rebellion, then you could get access to droids. Because at the end of the war, technically there were still a lot of B1s and B2s lying around. What would stop you from repurposing those droids to basically be on your squad and stuff? So that's how you could get them.
The droid do six. Right.
Disgusting me now. But I do hope you can capture droids and use them in your squad. That would be super cool. Like I'd love to have a couple B1s in my squad. I want my clanker squad. I need I need my clankers. I also like the old school Rebels from the 70s and 80s. I know. The Empire's cool. They got cool drip. But, like, something about the Rebels before the Rebels were gay is cool. Before Disney made them lame. Because it's like,
Okay,
yeah,
to be honest,
the rebellion in the old Galactic Civil War lore is like, yeah, they're the tiniest little guys fighting the biggest scary guy. And, like, they got the whole world stacked against them. And it's really cool. And then they
Can we have
ruined
that
that.
fight guy?
What was that?
Can we have that fight guy that have one line and dies?
One line and dies? What are you talking about?
There is one. I forgot his name on the spaceship.
oh, the
Oh,
fat guy.
fucking Porkins.
Yes.
I'm having a little trouble here. My deflector, something wrong with my deflector. It just explodes. That just lines
Okay.
in the fucking thing.
In
This
the
is
thumbnail,
Bat 7 standing by. Bat
in
7
the thumbnail, have a fat tariff on the little thing. I have a bucket of fried chicken.
Okay, fine. I'll pull it up. Chatfish need it. Chatfish told me in DMs in my brain that they need it.
The
Okay.
voices speak to me. Basically, that's what.
His name is Porkins. Yeah, his name is actually called Porkins. Alright, chat. I need to skim.
If they use Unreal, it will be very easy to mod. If they don't use Unreal, it will be harder to mod. If they use like prepare their own engine and stuff like that.
So this is the
It is,
scene that gets me every time, chat, in this fucking movie. That's why I love A New Hope so much.
I can hold it. Pull on! No, I'm all right.
No, I'm alright. I'm alright.
It's just because he's fat.
No, just look at it.
I can hold it.
He can hold it.
No, I'm all right.
So no, I'm alright. And he's gone. Alright. There's something amazing. Why can't you guys, like, the Empire's cool, but the Empire doesn't have Porkins, alright? Like, they're missing out. Without Porkins, did they really have the charisma? It's like,
Empire
whoa.
has droids, my dude.
Actually, well, they sort of have some, but they actually banned most.
Do they have a fat droid though?
Albino?
They need the fat droid.
But yeah, so that's Star Wars Zero Company. It looks like it's gonna be having some promise. I would caution it because, you know, they are looking like they're playing it safe. I don't necessarily blame the studio for playing it safe. I'm a little
Disney is probably breathing down their necks like a goddamn pit bull looking at a little baby.
yeah, so long as the game is
Because,
good, as long as it's good and it's a fun Star Wars game and it's not cringe, I'll be happy. Because the one thing I like about it is it looks like there's a Umbaran that you get in your party, and that's cool because I like the Umbarans. There's not a whole lot of them in Star Wars, so seeing them is cool. Now, was it Bino?
If you know Kingdom Hearts, right? That game always was successful, right? Even it was not the biggest success in the world, like it was getting big, it was becoming a franchise. Disney basically, like it came out, Disney kind of killed the Kingdom Hearts franchise on 3 because they made it very difficult to work with them. And they're like, okay, let's try to do this, and then the rest we do in DLC. And the DLC never came out because Disney was Disney, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, like I imagine that if a big company like Square Enix had trouble dealing with Disney because of being hard to work with, I only hope that Disney doesn't fuck these guys.
Sorry, Chumpa says the Rebels don't have Porkins anymore either. That's because he's dead.
Damn, true though.
Porkins is. I mean, he could be in the game. Because think about it, right? This is before the movie, so he has yet to explode.
My God, okay. They have him there, and he's getting fit, and you can either be like evil and be like, yes, exercise and stop eating donuts, or you can be good and be like, no, Parkins, you need to eat more.
You need to eat more. Fat Porkins.
Grow. Be strong.
Goddamn.
I mean, that was literally kids today when I said I was going to start gym.
Florial says,
I mean-
Chatfish need a 2-hour gunk droid lore video. I'd feel like I'd have to stretch out and like make shit up to make a 2-hour video. I could do it, but I'm not going to. That's terrible.
It's pretty easy to make a 2-hour video on anything. To
It
be honest.
is. We could start talking about
no.
pointless trivia and like theoretical
No,
things.
it's even worse because that's basically all I learned in college was how to get like 5 minutes of information and stretch it into like several hours, right? And it's basically like what you do is ever so often you start repeating the same stuff that you already said, but you change the words. And it sounds different even though it's the same information, and you can clear a lot of time with that.
Chatfish say, I want to know what Porkins ate in his daily diet. It's got to be wild stuff like blue milkshakes and stuff. He just
It's probably like every day he would drink blue milk straight from the titty, you know, like Luke did.
That's where Luke got it from, you know. He's like, whoop, and he just like,
He's like, I honor you, pork. Oh my god! Turns out the milk makes you have like dementia. That's why he tried to kill his nephew in the new franchise.
Chatfish, what are you
No,
doing to his story? Chatfish says, Stoney says, his wife left him, so he started eating a lot and drinking. And then Redacted says, Porkins, the divorced starfighter. Chatfish are progressively making him sad.
His wife left him for a clone. Yeah, that's why he joined the rebellion.
Damn, because he died. Clones die fast though. They because they age.
No, that's the thing. His wife left him for a clone, right? And before joining the rebellion, he was an engineer for droids. So not only the Empire took his wife, they decommissioned droids. They
took his job.
I
see. Porkins joined the rebels. His ex-wife went with to the Empire. It says a Porkins prequel movie. Porkins lore could be amazing. Such redacted. My biggest problem with Star Wars is they actually like try to do that sometimes with a lot of things. Here's this random prop from the movie, but here's like several side stories and comics about why this prop is amazing.
Let me see now. This game is gonna release. Someone gonna make a Porkins mod.
Deep lore, says Shepard. Lost his union job, then joined the rebels for reparations. Goddamn. He is a part of a union. They took his job. I think Chatfish have become silly fish. Now, on to the next video game. Is another Star Wars game. And, I know what you're thinking, but I'm surprised it's not EA as the publisher. It's Secret Mode, who I've never heard of, by the way. They publish things such as Still Wakes the Deep, Chained Together, that fucking... Remember
this? Yeah, you played this with Rebel.
This is fucking terrible, but yeah. Escape the Room. Okay, so they've published some things that have done well, but nothing of a major IP before.
What's the Chained Together?
Don't forget that it's a co-op game, don't worry about it. But it's basically... So interesting enough is the publisher has basically... Because EA no longer has exclusivity rights to publishing Star Wars games, this opens up other companies to get a chance to publish their games. Which, again, EA losing exclusivity was a good thing. Well, the Star Wars Zero Company game might be good. It also might not be. And so they're making a game called Galactic Racer. Chat's calling it Galactic Racist. Good.
But I'm looking forward to this one.
This one actually looks good. So this one has a lot of developers that, well, not a lot. It has some developers who worked on Flatout and Burnout working on it. And so it's going to have similar destruction and like takedown systems that Burnout had and stuff like that. And so it's going to be like a fun sort of action racer where you can smash up pod racers and stuff like that. It also has different types of things. It's not just pod racing. There's speeders and other things, and they've added as well on Repulsor Craft. So there's a bunch of variety to the vehicles that you can play.
You can unlock Darth Vader and he's there with a fucking those little ships.
Now there is a special derpy edition, but it looks like it just comes with cosmetic. No, it's not EA. It's Secret Mode, a different publisher, developed by Fuse Games. Galactic Racer pre-order bonus. Now let me just check Fuse Games. Let's do a little bit of research on them. Fuse Games. Fuse Games is a UK-based video game studio founded in 2023, former leaders of EA Criterion Games, the studio best known for developing its arcade racing games. So yeah, that's where the former expertise comes from. They're based in Guildford, England. They've worked on Need for Speed and Burnout. So yeah, Need for Speed and Burnout is the developers. I don't think Flat Out. I think I messed up that part. I don't know where I got Flat Out from. I think I confused that with Burnout. But yeah, so that's these developers.
I wonder how much does it cost to license Star Wars for a video game?
Well, probably a decent amount. They're going to want to do a background check on you because they're not going to let anybody do it. They're not going to let anybody do it.
I don't think they would let you on if you had.
They wouldn't let, like, even if I had the money, they wouldn't let me do it because I've been too vocally critical.
Yeah, that's the thing.
I've been too.
That's why you have to think smart, and you hire a proxy that looks good to be the fall guy.
Being a Star Wars game, we'll see Disney fucking send out hit squads for the first time to go put them down.
Also, Rapier is being nasty again. Don't forget, this is the last week to get in those Zero companies.
To be honest, like, I would never make a Star.
This is indeed the last week to get on Galactic Racer. Don't cut off little Bendio. Chatfish need to hear that in case they want to get on the thumbnail. Otherwise, they don't have to. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to watch the trailer for this and take a look at it. The gameplay looks really good. The story, I don't know of a story in a race game that's ever been amazing. So I don't know about that. The real question is it fun? So let's take a look.
Welcome to Durban Acos, where champions are born and losers annihilated. My sources say you've been making friends amongst our fellow League pilots.
Racers don't go head-to-head against Sebulba.
Sebulba? Oh my god, help me. Sorry.
They are not your friends.
I've seen you at Kestar's side.
Stay out of my way.
Oh, this is the dream shape.
There's a reason why they call Kestar Pool the champion. The golden age of the Galactic League begins now.
That's the, I think, story trailer? I'm not entirely sure. And then there's one more trailer to look at. Or maybe this is the deluxe edition trailer. It's like, look, cosmetics.
Yeah, this is kind of dumb. Show the gameplay. The gameplay is fun.
I mean, it looks fun. Could be ass. I don't know. I played it.
Yeah.
It could be ass. Okay.
Yeah, I corrected myself.
That wasn't actually a gameplay trailer. I'm now sad. Is this the actual gameplay trailer?
Yeah.
Sort of. We'll watch this one, and I think that'll be good enough.
Newest racer has arrived.
Is there a gameplay there?
Welcome to the Galactic League.
Sorta. I mean, you can see clips of gameplay, but you also see cinematics.
Take part in a friendly exhibition race. stampeding! If they weren't holding me back right now, I'd have you frozen in carbonite!
By the way, those people are dying. Like,
Yes.
those people are at that speed.
One note was even funnier because you could actually explode your car to cause more damage.
Silly keeps. Don't you remember no one dies in the Star Wars universe?
It looks pretty good though.
I'm probably buying this on release.
If you can play as
If they can
Zabalba, it's
survive-
game of the year. It's game of
They
the
can
year.
survive.
Oh yeah. Does the game have multiplayer?
Probably. It's a racing game. If it doesn't have multiplayer, I would be very surprised.
If it doesn't have multiplayer, I think I'll kill myself. Okay, good. It does.
Imagine you bump a chatfish out of the road.
Damn.
I'm just happy because it's good to see another Burnout game made. Because again, EA, like we talked about earlier, with like, oh, it doesn't sell billions of copies, so we shut it down, just like they did with Dead Space. It's good to see that the Burnout devs managed to get away from them and have actually started producing their own game, and they're making it great. I just hope that they do a good job with this. And I also hope that this might lead to a future. Because remember, we talked about that Saudi acquisition of EA, right? And EA might sell some of its IPs in order to recoup losses. That could be good. Who knows? Maybe the Burnout IP will be sold. And then if this game does well, Fuse Games, wouldn't that be a twist of fate? It's happened before. Acquire the Burnout IP back.
Speaking of an IP that like is not going to go anywhere, you guys know the guys that make Pokemon, Game Freak, right?
Mm-hmm.
Some time ago, people were mad because like it came out that they were basically funneling all the money they were getting from Pokemon franchise into another game called The Beast of Reincarnation. It was their own IP that they were making, right? And it came out apparently, and it's hot garbage. So, yeah, that's
what happens when you like, if you're funneling money or whatever. Like, it's the same with like Randy Pitchford and Borderlands, right? Like they stole a bunch of money from Sega to fund Dead Space, or not Dead Space, Borderlands 2.
Allegedly.
Well, yeah, allegedly. But it's very, I mean, Sega believed it so vehemently that they sued them over it. Because Sega I don't know if the word commission is correct, but basically authorized them to work on Aliens Colonial Marines and then funded them. And then when Sega got Aliens Colonial Marines and published it for them and entered the markets, Sega was a mouth agape when they saw that the game was fucking bombing incredibly hard. And that's kind of on Sega for not investigating the game's production. They should have investigated sooner, by the way. Because it's one of those cases of like publishers should be checking in on the game to see how it's coming along. How did they not know? Because like anybody who saw that coming should have immediately like launched an internal investigation. Like, what the fuck is this? This looks fucking like rancid. This is hot garbage. And I know what some people say, but there's a line of code that fixes some of the... And it doesn't fix jack diddly. The game is hot garbage. Like, the guns are terrible. The combat's garbage. Like, the aliens being able to crawl on the wall is the least of the game's problems. The game's just really bad.
Damn. I know that was very bad. I heard about
it. Shut up, Blake.
Death to Blake. This looks rancid Pitchford. Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, publishers should have a bit more of a look at the titles they are selling. Yeah, because it's a two-way street, right? Not all the time are developers innocent. Not all the time publishers are innocent. Both, when they work together, can actually produce some of the best things we've ever seen. But if one's out of sync with the other, it can be disastrous. And it's why I think it's important that communication between developer and publisher be clear and direct and straightforward.
It's kind of like how people blame the publishers and the suits a lot of the time, and I do agree.
Well, sometimes the suits are responsible, but sometimes they're not.
Yeah. Like one time that like the devs were responsible. The new Insomniac games.
Yeah.
They were bragging about how people complained about the Mary Jane parts in the first game, and like they complained about it, so we put a lot more of them in the second game. and more like woke missions and stuff like that. And then it was the devs talking about how they put it there because people didn't like it. It's like, I see.
Yup. Now, the next game we have to talk about is finally not a Star Wars game. I know, 2 Star Wars games back to back. My bad. I should have put a different game in between them. Well, where did the other game go? Did I just like close it by accident? Oops, I did.
Probably bug
Do
around.
you remember the name?
I do. It's Fireteam Elite. What the fuck? Where'd it go? Ooh, there it is. Oh, that's weird. It doesn't. Oh, Fireteam's one word. Derp. So Fireteam Elite dropped a new trailer. I'm going to take a look at it. Now, for those who don't know, Fireteam Elite is a really cool Aliens game. It was made by a studio that's kind of small, little baby guys. And the first Fireteam Elite game is fun. It's a little bit repetitive, but it's definitely the first big foray. And it was a huge shocker to this team. Let's double check. Yeah, Cold Iron Studios, because they've worked on other stuff before, I'm pretty sure. But nothing particularly like super amazing. And Fireteam Elite 1 scratched an itch that everybody wanted to be scratched, but never was. And it's Aliens. Everybody wanted a Colonial Marines game. Well, Fireteam Elite is the Colonial Marines game we've been looking for. It's actually a game where you play as a Colonial Marine. You get to customize them, pick a class, and you go through missions fighting all sorts of xenomorphs and other monsters from the Alien setting. So, well, we're mostly xenomorphs, but different types of
Only
xenomorphs.
fighting?
Yes, Bino. Bad Bino. But yes.
So it doesn't scratch my itch then.
Bad Bino. Bad. Bad Bino. Bad. Man, the new video's on the YouTube? What do you mean? I thought it's on the Steam store page. August 6th. Did it just come out today? Those chubby little fucking developers.
2 days ago, I think. Yeah, 2 days ago.
And where's their YouTube? Did they link it? Fat fucks. Making me do work.
I don't even know what game we're talking about.
I'm yelling at the developer. Oh, no, they didn't. It's on Steam as well. But yeah. So they released a new trailer. A couple new trailers recently. So we'll take a look at them. So this is the co-op showcase. I just blew up my eardrums. A little bit. Turned down a little bit. There we go. Looks pretty cool. Nice. Apparently it's going to be on the Switch. Didn't even know that. Ooh.
I remember when the first one came out and you were playing it a few years ago. Then it has been so long since I joined the channel Chatfishes.
Wrong thing.
I remember stuff now.
That wasn't necessary for Cube to click on that. Now this is the actual trailer. So this is the actual cinematic trailer for the game.
If anyone is listening, this is Dr. Lily Pierce on planet LV-558 in Storesboon. Xenomorphs have overrun the colony. I repeat, overrun the colony. We're running out of air and people are dying. Send the Marines. Send anyone.
Sorry I'm late.
Yeah, that's slated to come out August 25th of this month. So that's coming out soon. There's still time to get on the thumbnail, too. There's a pocket and a bucket. It's in 2 weeks from now. It's coming up fast. But yeah, so the first game was fun, but it was definitely, I agree with Aladred, it was definitely a play with your friends game. It could be played solo because you get like cool little AI buddies. And I would say they're cool because when you get an AI NPC companion in the game, it's a synth and it says like buddy or battle buddy on it. And it was just like a funny touch that whenever you had AI companions, they were synths. And I thought that was super cool as like a little touch thing. But yeah, the first game, if you ever played it and you're curious, Alien Fireteam Elite 1 is good with friends. It's one of those games where it was a little, like, it has a bit of rough spots here and there, but it was more or less pretty fun. The biggest problem with the first game after playing it was that it was fun for, definitely fun for a full playthrough the first time, and it's decent length, plus the expansion. But after the second or third playthrough, it kind of gets, like, it didn't have enough enemy variety, and the maps were kind of, like, super, like, tunnely, and it kind of makes sense because, you know, they're just tunnels. But there wasn't a lot of replay value to it over time. Even though you could play different classes, unlock stuff, and different progression, it looks like they're kind of doing a bit more here, but I can't say for the levels, if the levels are going to address that issue. The issue with the level design is that it's tricky, right? Because the aliens thing has kind of got this claustrophobic level to it to begin with, because it's kind of like the shtick. So it's like, okay, how do you make it so that it works, but to have a little bit of, like, you know, flavor to it, but without, like, losing that sort of tension from that claustrophobic vibe. Well, I'm wondering what Plague's saying. I have no idea. Well, look, Kibbs, it's similar to your favorite video game, in Helldivers 2. What are you talking about? I don't think this is at all similar to Helldivers 2. This game has a class system, and is also linear level design. This is more like Left 4 Dead than it is anything like that.
Keeps 4 players.
Oh my god, help me.
That's it.
No 4-player game existed before that, according to Plague. On the store page, look, it's similar. What? Yeah, but it also says War Thunder, alright? So, like, I don't really buy the whole, like, it's similar to the games you played, like Helldivers 2, which is nothing like this, and War Thunder, which is even less like this. Like, Helldivers 2 is a lot closer, but that's even less similar to bullshit is what it should be. So yeah, The nice thing is, unlike the first game, they've expanded the player count to 4, which I agree. Like, and everyone had that feeling too. 3 players was like, what the heck? Why is it 3? 3 is that weird thing, and I honestly blame Destiny for this. Where it's like 3-player co-op. It's like, what? Like it's either been 2 or 4. Like, what's with 3? 3's weird. 3's a weird choice. But
Hey, Grumpy! How are you doing?
yeah,
Our
Grumpy's.
buying choice, I
Mr.
expected
P.
more from you, Refund. What is our buying choice?
Our buying choice is freebie.
Of course.
So, the one thing is they have the same class they had before. The only thing particularly new that I remember them adding, and Chumpa can correct me if I'm wrong, is they added the Specialist class. The Specialist class can combine different elements of the other classes. Jack of all trade, but master of none. I'm not really a kind of the guy that likes those Jack of all trades sort of class building where you can mix and match. That's the Specialist class. I'm usually kind of like, I like to have different archetypes and play with those archetypes. I don't mind fully customized things, but I feel like things should have themes. Personal preference.
Well, what do you mean things should get...
Genghis says 4 is greater than 3, and 2 is greater than 3. Yeah, at least to me, it always made more sense, because, like, 3 players just felt weird, didn't it? It was like a weird trend, and it still is a trend that's going on in gaming to this day, where you get, like, this is a 3-player co-op game. It's like, well, why didn't you just do 4? Like, why did you stop there? We did 4 because we wanted to. 4, no more. 3, no more.
Hey, Reefer, give some
Trying
membership.
to steal my kingfish.
Very generous, Bifford. They also added Horde mode on launch this time, which I don't think they did last time. But it's kind of a weird choice, if I remember right. Did they have Horde on launch? I can't remember. The fact that they're saying AFE2 launches with multiple dedicated Horde maps that push quads to the limits, escalating waves. The fact that they're mentioning that makes me think that wasn't at launch. I know they added it later, I'm pretty sure. But yeah.
Now that's a good choice. I'm gonna set my choice to the XCOM Star Wars because I want to see Chatfish bullying the Ewok Kamigawa.
That's true. Ewok Gawa is now a thing. It will be once that thumbnail's funded. He can and he will hurt you. So, but yeah, this looks good. I'm definitely intending to pick this up when it comes out, August 25th. I hope this is good, because I think Cold Iron Studios has done a pretty good job. Like, I think if they keep working this up, like, if it improves on the first one, I think this will be a good game, a solid game. Definitely one to pick up with your buddies. Hopefully they charge it at a reasonable rate. It's a co-op game. Don't do something silly like 60. Like $30 or $40. Ideally 20 if it's 4 players. Because 4 copies is $80. Incentivizes entire friend group. And that's a lot of money. It's a lot of goddamn money if you ask Kib. I mean, Aliens Fireteam Elite was charged reasonably. $30. With its pathogen expansion being $15. And a bunch of class things, which I didn't buy. If Hans would definitely buy that. He is a Wayu slut. That's for sure.
No, it's Holland.
Holland gets a membership. Very generous. Are we eating good? Potentially. This might be a very strong fall. Considering the lineup of games we have, fall might be looking pretty good.
I need to see how thick the Alien Queen is before I make any decision.
The only one who will take stock in you is Florial and Genghis. Your tiny, pathetic audience. Genghis like,
should probably draw aliens.
Bino bad. Psst, psst. Bino draws what he's paid to draw.
Dang.
Bino said. Bino gonna Bino ended Bino himself.
Dang. Here I am, slaving away to drive your stuff.
No, Chad, I have something. The next subject we're ready to move on to. The Dad Files. Like, whoa. Whoa. What? I don't want to look at ads. Fine, I will pause on this site. You big baby. Dad files lawsuit against game companies over son's game addiction. A Chinese man. We can almost just throw this article immediately away.
Of course, it's China.
But yeah, a Chinese man is suing multiple major game companies in the country, intending to send a message about curbing the growth of video game addiction. The lawsuit is not the first of its kind to tackle issues of addiction within the video game industry. This is entirely a failure to dad situation here. You know how my parents handled my like crippling addiction to video games, which I actually have, unlike you posers. You know what they did? They took my power cord and said, "Go outside." I'm like, "Oh!" When they took my power, and that's what I did. I went outside and played outside. I biked. I played basketball. I did baseball. You know, I dabbled in football, and look how that turned out. Not so good. Not so good.
Like, the thing is, he's in China, right? Like, China is probably not a safe country, no matter how much they propagandize about it, because like people get run over each other over there with cars, and like they make sure to kill you so that you don't. Because if he survives, I can get in trouble. But if I kill him and run, nothing happens. So I wouldn't let my kid play outside if it was Chinese. You get what I mean?
Yep. One of the most
Yeah,
horrifying things and darkest things I ever saw, ever to come out from China. And chat, for those that want, I'm going to put my BRB screen up because this is kind of a dark thing. So if you don't want to hear this, you can mute this right now. And once this background changes back, I will be done talking about it, okay? Because I honestly don't like talking about it because it fucking triggers the shit out of me when I saw it. But, like, it's messed up. So go ahead. I'll give you 60 seconds to, you know, mute the stream. And then when I remove the overlay, yeah, I'll talk about it. Because Bino mentions something, and it's pretty fucking terrible.
while we wait, I will say, Chatfish. You know what styles of games I'm happy that's coming back?
Now, Bino, it's been 60 seconds. Shush you. Shush for a moment. So, I want to get through this. Yeah, so when Bino mentions, like, the whole, like, killing him thing, like, I didn't really believe that until I saw a fucking little child, a little toddler, get run over by a car, and then the guy leans out, sees that he's run over the kid, and people are walking by the screaming, like, kid that blood squirted out, like, all over their body, and it's just pretty messed up. And then he gets back in his car and drives the other tire over him and keeps driving. And the little child was there, twitching, and people just walked by. And, like, they didn't care until it died. And it was one of the most, like, I'd never wanted to look at things like that again after that. It was absolutely horrible. It was absolutely horrible. One of the worst things I'd ever seen in my goddamn life. And what made me so fucking furious was, and the reason why I hate China so much, is because of this goddamn video. And, like, ever since I've seen that shit, I can never, ever, ever, if you always know why I have such hatred, it's that fucking video. It's burned into my mind, and every time I close my eyes, when I think of that fucking thing, I hate China. I hate them. I hate them so much. I can't even put into words why I hate them so much. It's like this fucking angry, like, thing. Like, I can't even call it irrational. I think it's completely rational being this way. I feel completely vindicated with my hatred of them. Like, absolutely. And ever since I've seen that, I've never looked at China the same again. I've always hated them absolutely and thoroughly. And I never will. Because any country that allows something like that to happen is absolutely putrid and should burn, in my opinion. Like, holy shit.
Unfortunately, it's just corruption, because over here in Brazil is basically the same shit. It's starting to become the same shit in some places. It's not to that level yet, thank God. But this is what happens when communism and corruption, they always walk hand in hand, you know. So yeah.
The big thing is that on it doesn't matter. Like, the thing that matters to me is that any society that like that becomes the norm, like, the fact that it happened and then the response was to just continue was deplorable. And that's it. That's all that I have to say, and we're moving on. We're not talking about this anymore.
Mm-hmm. You know,
all right.
one thing
So,
I'm
enough,
pretty
Bino.
about? Damn.
The Dad Files lawsuit against game companies over. So we're back to this. So now that we're done with that nasty thing, a Chinese man suing this game company. Now, the real thing I want to talk about here is that when it comes to this Chinese company thing, this fucking thing is dumb. Like, you're being a bad father. Like, if your child's addicted to games, then you need to discipline your child. And you need to remove their privileges to certain things if they break rules. Just like when I was a bad kid, because I did do bad stuff when I was a kid, and I deserved to be punished for it. Like, I need to be disciplined too. And you take away their video games, you take away the things, and until they get their act together, they're not allowed to have them. Until they shape up. And guess what they're going to do? They're going to shape up pretty goddamn fast. Just punish them. Do not, like the big thing is that this is what a failed state like China does. And there's, like, Americans did this too, by the way. Where they, like, fucking, like, were like, oh, my kid's addicted. No, you're a bad parent. Your kid may be addicted to something, but that's because they have an addictive personality, and that's because you're just doing bad parenting. A good parent can get under wraps. Yes, a kid can become addicted to video games, and you can become addicted to video games. You can also become addicted to soda. You can also become addicted
Exercising.
to fat foods.
It's
called addictive. I know, but it's called it's called an addictive personality. You can get addicted to things. It is a thing that happens. You need to recognize when it happens, and you need to deal with it. That's all there is that needs to be said on this, and there's nothing else that needs to be said on this. Other than that, it's a failure to parent, and the game companies and game makers aren't responsible for this. Even game companies I don't like gacha games. I hate gacha games, but it's not their fault. You're spending, like, all your money on it. It's your fault. You're the one who pressed the button. You're the one who spent the money. Like, you did it. It's the same with, like, the gun thing. Like, did the gun do anything to anybody? No, it's just a thing. You made that decision. You did it. You're responsible. Not the inanimate object. The cases when the inanimate object is responsible is like when Toyota's brakes didn't work for a while because they had a defect in their manufacturing. And people, like, started crashing and stuff because they couldn't get the vehicle to stop because the brakes didn't work. That is when the company's at fault. That's when they fucked up. That's when they deserve to be sued because they fucked up and they need to be punished. So other companies learn and see what happens when you cause people damage or hurt people like that. In the case of the video game company didn't do anything. Its systems and mechanisms are working fine. The only thing that's not working here is the child. And that's just a bad parenting. Due to bad parenting. That's it. Next. GTA 6. GTA 6, during Take-Two's earnings call, Strauss Zelnick admitted they could have charged even higher for GTA 6 and still done insane numbers due to the hype. But they chose to focus on delivering more value with $80 base price and just $20 more for the Ultimate Edition. Offering a phenomenal value at $80 makes sense for some consumers, and then offering incremental value at a modestly increased price of $100 also makes sense. Given... I don't believe what I'm saying, by the way, but I'm just reading. Given the hype
I'm sorry.
around this title, I think we could have made any number of other pricing choices. But as I said earlier, our focus is on delivering way, way, way more value than we charge for something. I don't believe anything I just fucking read there. Firstly, they're charging $80 for this fucking pile of garbage. And they have an $100 Ultimate Edition. Now, the Ultimate Edition doesn't bother me, because whatever. Actually, no, it might actually. Let's see what it does.
It bothers.
I don't like cut content, period. But, like, it's just cosmetics. Like, it's still cancer.
But they're only...
Oh, yeah, it does bother me. Free month of GTA Plus. The fact that the GTA Plus is a thing, and there's subscription services in this, is bad. I think that's terrible.
They also have the issue where, like, even though it's only quote-unquote cosmetics, it's also basically stuff that was in the other games that they are not going to have on this game in base game, just so that they can... You know what I mean? It's kind of like if in Halo, they released the Halo campaign Evolved, but, like, they charge extra for the multiplayer, even though every Halo always had the multiplayer with the game, you know what I mean? So it's basically, like, that's the only reason I think people are getting mad about that. Even though I don't care about GTA, I never liked the game.
I don't give a shit. I just think this is fucking stupid. It's retardedly expensive, and honestly, it's just like it's $80. Like the fact that there's a version for $80 is actually just retarded. Like this is just fucking stupid. I don't even
It's
like Grand
usually
Theft Auto that much. I just think that a company doing this, I kind of hope they go out of business. Like I kind of hope that Rockstar Games they lose their jobs. I want them to lose their
you know,
jobs, and I want them to go to business because this kind of habit and this kind of behavior in the industry is kind of just deplorable to me. Like at this point, you don't deserve to work in the industry. Get the fuck out. Like holy fuck, talk about the greed. $80 per copy. Are you nuts? Like it's already ridiculous that it's 70 goddamn dollars, right? And they're like, oh, let's push it the next envelope. Because I told you guys, and I know you guys know this. Many of you already know this, but I've told you guys this before. The industry is not going to stop at 70. They're not going to stop at 80. They're not going to stop at 90, and they're not going to stop at 100. They're going to keep going until they can get as much as they can. If they can get 120, they'll go for 120. If they can get $200 per game out of you, they'll get $200 per game out of you. They will never stop increasing the price. Pronunciation. They will keep doing this forever. And they will never stop until we do pushback. Because the industry said, explicitly told people, literally echoed and championed that it's okay for things to go digital. Like, and because they were getting on board the Steam wagon. Because they were following Steam's success. Because games will get cheaper. They won't be $60 anymore. $60 is ridiculously expensive. We don't need $60 to develop these massive budget games. We never needed that. We only need like $40, $50. We don't need that much. If we want to make boxes, we want to ship, we want to manufacture, it'll be like $40 per game. It'll be so cheap. It'll be wild. They lied.
There's another thing. There's
They lied
another
to
thing
you.
that no one talks about. That is not just games going digital. Because back when games were $60 back in like N64 era, right? Almost not many people knew about video games. Like unless you actually had someone that knew about it, or you saw an ad, people didn't care about video games. Nowadays, everyone knows about it. So like more people are buying would be buying video games anyway. You know what I mean? So basically, even if they never went digital, more people were buying it. So like they had a bigger market. It's the whole thing. It's the whole thing.
What was that been to you? Did you want to say something too?
No, I remember when they said that games would be cheaper because of the digital version.
Yep, it'll be cheaper. Like you don't yeah, you won't have boxes, but hey, it'll be cheaper at least. Lie. It never got cheaper. It only got more expensive. And if you look at it, it's not because the games are getting better. It's not because the games are getting bigger, though they are because they're not file compressing. It's because they're lazier with their development. And it's bad file compression. If your game is 100 gigabytes, you're literally just not doing your job right. It's not because your game is fucking huge. It's actually a different reason. It's actually worse. You know why they don't compress their games? It's because they want to fill up your hard drive so that you spend more time in their game instead of other games. And we found that out from insider leaks from Call of Duty and stuff like that. Where the reason why the file size keeps getting bigger and bigger and they're not compressing the files is because it's actually better, and they found it from their own studies internally, whether that's actually true or not, I don't know, that it's better to keep players on their games if their game is so big they can't install the competition.
It is technically true because, for example, anecdotally, I know people that are having trouble getting a new hard drive, right? So I have like Fortnite and whatever other big game installed, and they don't have anything else because of that. You know what I mean?
Yep, it's because they can. The big thing is trying to push you in so that you can't do anything. And because we have advanced file compression technology, you can compress games with literally basically no loss to quality whatsoever. But it's not that. It's that they're not compressing their files. They're giving you raw files. Like when I was messing around with Adobe back in the day when I was trying to learn video editing, back when I had time to video edit stuff, not that I have anymore. Like when you first do a file, and if you don't use the right compression, you can accidentally make a file that's like 100 gigs. I've done it before. And then once you learn how to okay, you got to do the compression technique right, now it's actually only 100 megabytes instead of 100 gigabytes for what is essentially a tiny little fucking few minute video. not a fucking massive Lord of the Rings extended edition. Lord of the Rings extended edition isn't that big. Like, how big is it? Like, let's Google that. Let's Google that.
You know, one thing that's kind of fucked up. They keep like trying to do this undercutting the customer things, right? And they're slowly killing talent in the industry because I can tell that whenever I try to learn stuff, for example, 3D modeling, right? It's becoming kind of a lost art because of the difficulty in getting materials about it and because people are stopping working with it. Coding, some coding will become like that as well. I think you told me that like 2D pixel art is already kind of a lost art.
Well, it's becoming. It's becoming a lost art over time. Pro videos are 4 gigabyte per hour of video. Yeah, so one of these things claims is the video quality format in a single 4K UHD Blu-ray is between 60 to 82 gigabytes per movie, which is insane. Then standard like HD videos are only 4 gigabytes to 15 tops, ballparking. But yeah, it's like holy shit, 62 gigabytes for honestly 4K Ultra HD. Like, I don't know about you, chat. I've seen 4K Ultra and I watched it with my dad before, and it actually doesn't look good. It looks bad. But I think it has to do with the fact things it looks kind of fake. I don't know, something weird about it. Like, watch. If you ever seen the Lord of the Rings, 4K Ultra HD thing, you guys have to let me know what your opinion was. Because we were of the opinion that it kind of looked like everything looked kind of fake and like you kind of see how fake things were, and it actually like demystified the movie because it looked too clear. I know that sounds weird, but like
I know what could have been.
I know HD is fine, but it looks like it's fakey.
Maybe it's because of that depth perception also. Because one issue that games are running into now that we didn't run into ages ago is that like when you're looking at a mountain, let's say you are in the forest looking at a big forest, right? Your brain takes all that information, but it also takes the depth of each area and it looks natural in your mind. One of the reasons, like I always complain about too many details on shooters nowadays, is because when you look at like a photorealistic shooter like Battlefield or Call of Duty, right? Even if they could get like perfect real life images there, the issue is when you look at the screen, it's all flat. Your brain is analyzing a flat area, a flat image. So and that everything's kind of the same, like depth, quote unquote. You know what I mean? Is an issue that happens. So I think that's kind of was what happening also because like it was so much information being shown that your brain goes.
It's not necessarily that, in my opinion. It's more so that if you can see certain things to a certain degree, you begin to realize that certain props aren't as nice as they actually are. It's like when you watch old movies with old CG and like super high res, right? Watch Toy Story with the highest res possible. It looks kind of janky. And that's because of its style and how old it was. It's less noticeable when you watch like something that's 2D and animated because they can craft each scene, right? But yeah. To be honest, the 4K Ultra HD is also based on your hardware, and you are able to see too much detail, says Little Prime Pepe. River says, Lord of the Rings started to look fake, I think was because the increase in FPS and the video. Maybe we'll go back to Fog-style sandbox games, says Motorcycles, where they cut down on resources by hiding stuff into fog. You know what's funny? The fog stuff actually worked for quite a few games, actually. In terms of like stylistic choices. I would say that the fog trend, I'm glad it's gone because its limitations actually hurt more than it helped. But there were some games that benefited from it, like Silent Hill and the like. Or certain horror games. It creates a certain atmosphere, not being able to see all the way. And so it's one of those artistic choices. I'm not talking about the original Lord of the Rings. I've only seen like I think the Blu-ray version's fine. I think the Blu-ray one's nice. But I thought the 4K Ultra thing looked weird. It looked not right. And I think whenever I've seen 4K Ultra movies, I kind of feel like 4K Ultra just feels kind of off. Like, it's super clean and clear, but at the same time, it's like, it feels kind of fake. Feels kind of, which is
Faking.
weird because the movie itself is fake. You know, HD and clearness isn't the super problem. It's that super clarity that's weird.
It's
Especially
kind of like
because
how.
well, I know,
So,
but especially because when I remember talking to my mom about this part's entirely me, and I remember telling my mom something, and she got mad at me about it, or annoyed with me. She was driving me to school, and along the way, I was looking at the trees out the window, and I commented, "Mom, I think it's weird that trees don't look as good as they do in video games as they do in real life. Like video games look better sometimes." And she's like, "What the fuck is wrong with you?" Like she didn't say that, but I know it's what she was thinking, and I'm just like. I don't know. I don't like it doesn't look as good. And that was before I realized I was nearsighted, you know? So I was like, it's like I can like the trees look so much better in video games cuz like, you can see farther. But like in real life, like they're just kind of blurry at a certain distance. Like people are like, "Oh yeah, look at the leaves and the detail and the trees from so far in video game." Like, "Yeah, it's amazing. The graphics look better than real life." And then my friends would be like, "What?" What?
I used to joke about basically using glasses is like installing a new graphics card.
You gonna keep going with that, Beaner? You're just gonna stop right there. You
No,
gotta
it's just that like when you don't have the glasses, it's the onboard graphics card of a laptop.
onboard graphics of lap.
When you put on the glasses, RTX. You get what I mean? I'm very, very blind without my glasses.
Blake sent me an article that I'm going to pull up on my other computer because I can't read it. It's in fucking derpy language.
It's Japanese, of
I
course.
saw a reposted and joked with an acquaintance, but regardless of my intention, due to lack of relevant knowledge, my words were inappropriate. Thank you for pointing out my mistakes. I saw and reposted I don't know, I'm reading this shit. Post and jokingly used it to communicate with an acquaintance, meaning to give an absurd example. What the fuck did you send me, Blake? And why do I not care? The Chinese
Blake,
were mad at nothing as usual.
Send it
Not
to me,
really
please.
article, Kib. You should read what I wrote before, Kibs. It helps you read what I whoa. The Chinese review
Send to me,
bombed.
please.
Shut up. The Chinese review bombed Living with Sister. The Chinese were mad at nothing relevant. Okay, I mean that's fair, but like Chinese opinions are like not relevant, and they never have been. And the minute you start like thinking their opinions matter is the minute you start constraining yourself to the wills of others. Like it's like when I saw that fucking like oh god John Cena or whatever fucking like apologizing to Chinese while eating ice cream, like, ching 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 bing 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 bing, and like as he's eating his ice cream, it's like oh my god shut the fuck up, like you fucking
Oh
little
yeah.
what a bitch, like fuck off. Like it's one of those cases like yeah like if you say something and it's genuinely messed up, yeah, like oops, I didn't mean it that way, and then move on. But to grovel and beg, fuck no. Like if I fuck up to somebody who's my friend or whatever, I'll be like, hey man, I'm sorry, but I'm not gonna get on my knees and fucking crawl. Like fuck off.
Especially someone that has literal fuck you money, like these guys do. Like the guys are goddamn millionaires.
Yeah, but they want
like,
more
"Oh my
fuck you
God."
money. It's because the other companies and corporations kneel to whenever the Chinese get upset because like, oh my god, they're gonna get upset and they're gonna review like I don't care. What are they gonna do? Whine? Fuck off. Like, oh, go back
all they
to
do
living in your third world shithole. Like, shut up. Shut up. Half the country doesn't even have power. Go away. Once
Go
the
back
Three
to running
Gorges,
over it.
once the Three Gorges Dam finally bursts, we won't be seeing you anymore. Like, go away.
Oh my fucking god! I know a guy that was from China,
We
right?
won't be seeing. You won't
And
have
he
power.
complained to me. He complained to me about how like, God damn, I hate China. I hate the communist government. And then he was complaining about how like some communist government guy went there to near where he lived, and we need to relocate this river to do this something. And the guy fucked up and dried and make the river basically dry in that area, right? And he's still mad about that like 10 years later. It's like, damn. China is second word, the common word. Yeah. No, I put Brazil above China.
Yeah, true. We put the third world above China. China's beneath it. At the bottom. Next to India. Next to That's why we can't have the India-China war happen soon enough, chat.
We should probably send.
Seeing what Chatfish are doing. Chatfish are just like, what? I don't think you should trust any Chinese opinions, says Rifford. You're right. Keeps going schizo in his bing bings. It's possibly. Bino's waffling about nothing again. He does that.
Damn, farmer goals.
Bino does do that. We'll be talking about. See, I got a problem where I get procrastinate and I get distracted by things, and that's an issue I have. Bino has this problem where you'll talk about something, and then Bino will talk about something that's not related, and then be like, Indio, I really like chili dogs. And he's like, chili dogs are okay. And he's like, hey guys, like, did you see on the news when the parrot was flying through the sky? And it's like, what the fuck are you talking about, Bino?
You're gaslighting.
Bino's just happy to be here. Like, he doesn't know what's happening. He doesn't know where he is, but he is participating. All right? Like, as best he can. Not very well, but as best he can. And India's laughing because he knows I'm right. Bino doesn't know what's happening. Bino's here. He's with his boys, He's trying to have a fun time. But Bino doesn't know where he is right now, guys. Bino's a few fries short of a happy meal, as they say.
See what they do to me, Chatfishes?
Notice how I'm not wrong.
You're wrong. Yeah.
Now, Chatfish, the next stream we have is we're going to be playing Gears E-Day and streaming that for the Chatfish so you guys can see the gameplay and see if you like it. If you don't, no worries, no harm, no foul. I think it's pretty good. And this will be the last beta stream before the public beta, because I don't think I'm going to stream it again, probably. Until then. Unless the beta's already over, then I'll realize that later.
Probably not burn yourself
No, shush.
on the...
Bino, I'm doing my thing. You're interrupting my thing.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, you better be. I want a big fucking essay on how sorry you are. Because I don't think you're sorry. I think you're just saying that. Now, Chatfish, we'll see you in the next stream with Bino's apology letter in hand. So we'll see you in a few minutes where Bino apologizes live on stream. Take care, Bino. I mean, Chatfish.